Should I do the rest of the show in sunglasses, be PFT for the day?
Yeah. All right, do a PFT impression.
Well, I understand what Big T's saying, but Arian too, like, I get it.
I'm Kamala.
Yeah.
PFT.
He said he both sides this man.
PFT Kamala-tator. Welcome back to Macrodosing. It is Thursday. It's August 29th, and we're back. We're going to do Project Paperclip. You might have heard of it as Operation Paperclip in the past, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit. It's Macrodosing. We got myself, Arian, Big T, Mad Dog, McKinsey, and I'm excited to be back. A lot to get into today, especially I can't believe that we haven't done Project Paperclip yet. Feels like
I could have swore we mentioned it.
We've definitely mentioned it before. I think we've
that might be it. All
We've
right.
danced around it, but yeah, an interesting look into our nation's history post World War II and the moon race as well. So yeah, a lot to look forward to on this episode. We brought this up before we started, but this is our last episode before football season starts.
Clap it up.
So we made it,
Clap it up.
guys. We made it.
As this is airing tomorrow, it starts today.
Yep, and Mr. Putin, President Putin, please, sir, just take your finger off the button for at least another week and a half. I'm going to be so pissed off. Every year I think about this, late August, early September, if I made it through the entire offseason and then we get nuked right before football starts again, that would be the worst time to get nuked.
You're not even asking for the full season? You just want week one?
Well, it'd be cruel if he did it like Thursday morning before kickoff.
That'd be tough.
That'd be very tough. So just chill out a little bit. I know that Ukraine's taking some land back. I know that you're launching a bunch of strikes. You got the cruise missiles flying over Ukraine. Please just don't fuck with football season kicking off. Is that too much to ask? Thank you, Mr.
Hey, Matt, can you send us to the Russian account?
She's got it.
Yeah,
All
for
right.
sure.
She's got it.
I'll text them.
I just expedite it. You know.
Okay.
So we do have a new segment that we kicked off on Tuesday's episode, and then Big T says he's got another one for today. So let's get into it.
You're leading with it.
I'm going to lead with it. What's the segment, Big T?
This is called Y'all Tell Me This. This is a...
Should we sell this? Let's sell this part.
Yeah, sell it. Y'all tell me this.
So there's a generational divide between you and Arian and Madeline, McKenzie, and myself.
Yep.
Just called us old. All right. Keep
But I was saying that to say that y'all aren't that much older, but you are a different generation.
keep buttering that shit up.
So there's a current debate going on online, and I would like to know what y'all do in this situation. Okay. If you are buying something, let's say more than a couple $100, let's say $500 or more, and you're purchasing it online, would you go out of your way to use a computer for that rather than your phone?
Oh, interesting. So you're like, this is a big purchase. Let me do it officially.
Yes.
Let me get on the actual keys.
Do you do that?
I want to use all my fingers to buy this, not just my thumbs.
Right.
No.
You don't do that?
No, I don't do that.
Arian, do you?
Nah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Wait, Big T, do you?
I do not.
I would say I do that.
I go on my computer.
So maybe it's more of a gender gap.
Like if I'm buying anything that's more than like a flight or more expensive, I have to do it on the computer.
Why is that? You think you get...
flights? No, because I just do it right on the app on my phone.
Oh, no. See, I'm not loyal to an airline. I got to see who has the best deals.
Is it because you don't trust your phone?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the divide.
I don't know what it is, but I do
have
know
to.
exactly
well, I
what
also
you're saying,
get
Big T.
I also get like claustrophobic's the wrong word.
Definitely,
but, like-
definitely wrong word.
Yeah.
No, I know. I require if it's like a bigger purchase, even with like clothes. Like even if I literally was online shopping last week and I had my cart on my phone and then I had to transfer to my computer because it was like more than $100 and I was like I need to get my ducks in a row. It's like I need more space.
You feel like the PC is a separate internet than your phone, right?
No, like I just feel like I need more space and like I need to make sure my address is right and like autocorrect on my phone. Like I get nervous for that kind of stuff. I don't know, but I
PC more official?
Yeah, every flight is bought on my laptop. Every like furniture,
So
anything
what was
like that.
what was the original premise? So
I saw this tweet.
There are
Big T.
apparently a lot of Gen Z kids, these kids out here, that are making fun of, I guess millennials are more, will more often do that, like get on their computer for larger purchases instead of doing it on their phone.
man, I mean,
That's what they're saying.
I think honestly, I feel like a child because the only thing I ever purchased on my PC is like gaming credits for a game or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Get some new skins or something. Like it's the only thing. But you have to do it on your PC. So everything else is on my phone, really.
Yeah, I could see somebody a generation above ours maybe being like, "This is a big deal. Let me use the computer for it."
Yeah, like my dad. My dad
My
would.
mom does that. Okay, this is cute. My mom, she has like a bill paying day, and she goes into her office, which is a room with a computer and some books. And because she's retired, right? She still calls it an office, though. It's very cute. But she goes into her office and she sits on her computer to pay all her bills. Like this is her bill paying day. And she said, like every night I'll catch her on FaceTime. She's like, I'm paying, but she's in that room. And it's like you can do all that shit from your phone. Like it's just
That's
funny,
cute.
though.
That is nice. Yeah, I think my mom would probably do the same thing.
Yeah, it's wholesome,
Yeah.
super wholesome.
The only thing I do that for sometimes, and even sometimes I'll still do it on my phone, but buying tickets, I will sometimes go on my computer because you can have the map larger and see, like, clicking on where the exact seats are.
That's true. And sometimes clicking the pictures of, like, click all the photos that have bicycles. It's easier to see on your computer sometimes.
Are you having trouble with recaptchas?
Sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes you get, like, the spoke of the bicycle is in one of the corners, and then the rest, and then you're like, wait, that's not really the bicycle. That's the basket for the bicycle.
I believe it's always 6 squares that you have to click.
Is it really?
So, like...
So, about that, if you're a robot thing, real quick, do you click on the things that have, like, a little bit of, like, say it's a staircase, click all the pictures with a staircase. Like, there's a piece of a staircase in one. Do you click that box?
Yeah.
I'll be having some, I don't know.
That's what I'm
I'll be
saying. I think
double-dutching.
it's always 6, so I just click the 6 that have the most.
I get really into. I'm like computer enhanced. I'm like a CSI investigator. I'm trying to zoom in on shit. Be like, I think that's a railing from a staircase, but is that actually a staircase? But I think what they might be asking you for is not necessarily getting them all right, but they can monitor like your keystrokes and where you're pressing, and they can tell if that's the pattern of a human that's doing it as opposed to just a bot that's doing it.
Can you not program a bot to recognize
I don't know.
a bike?
I don't know, but
bus?
the people that program bots they might be on my top 5 shit list.
Yeah.
If you just write bots all day.
What is it? Give me the whole list. Now I'm interested with the list. Talk to me.
Other people on my shit list?
You said top 5.
I haven't.
Top 5 PFTs shit list.
Okay, number 1, Hitler.
All right, okay, wait.
Is that shocking? Do you disagree?
I'm saying we fixed that one. So okay.
Well, Hitler fixed that one.
That's what I'm saying. So that one's over. So give me the next one.
Okay. Number 2 is.
By the way, I don't even think you have to mention that. Like, you don't have to score brownie points saying you don't like Hitler. I mean, it's a pretty universal.
Why would you think that the only reason I would mention Hitler as being bad is to score brownie points? Why can't I truly believe that?
Well, then why mention him? That's like saying, we need water to hydrate. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Arian, who are your top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL?
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, man. I would say.
Hey! Don't answer this question. He's about to cook you. Don't.
Fuck. Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, why would you even mention Patrick Mahomes? Everybody knows it's going to be Patrick Mahomes. Why did you try to score internet brownie points?
No, he's currently alive and living and eating food. Like he's here.
Oh, I didn't know that it was top 5 shit list of people who are eating food.
I didn't say Peyton Manning. Well, why is Hitler currently grinding your gears? Like, what is he doing?
Those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it, Arian.
Interesting. That's interesting.
Okay, so not in your top 5 shit list is what you're saying.
I mean, it doesn't. He doesn't.
You're not sounding pro Hitler right now, but you're certainly not sounding anti.
How?
I mean, PFT came out #1. He's like, I'm anti-Hitler. You're like, well, let's pump the brakes.
All right. What about the King Leopold? Why is it?
Is
He
Genghis
probably killed
Khan
more
on
people than
there?
Hitler.
Genghis Khan's #4. Yeah.
Okay.
So anybody. Okay. How about this? Let me rephrase the question, because now y'all got me in this corner where I'm like
It's not a good corner to be in.
low key defending.
Yeah,
Hitler.
not a
This
good
is wild.
corner.
All right. Give me your top 5 living people on your shit list that exist today in today's world.
Okay. Dan Snyder, still.
Okay.
I can never forgive Dan Snyder for what he did to an entire region.
All right. But just, I mean, the juxtaposition of lists, but we went from Hitler to Dan
You think
Snyder,
it's
but
that
let's go.
different?
I mean, let's go. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. Still got Dan Snyder on there. Who else would be on my current shit list?
The guy who invented paper straws. I assume he's got to still be with us.
Yeah, he probably is. He's bad.
Wanna see.
He's bad. But you know what? I'm not going to defend the guy that invented paper straws. However, every now and again, when you get a real straw that you weren't expecting, it does hit different.
But it should be that way all the time.
It should be. You're right.
You're
but
making an argument for sleeping in a twin bed so that when you go to a hotel and you have a king bed, it's better.
yeah,
That's
I'm not
stupid. You should just have a king bed the whole time.
Sometimes
Got some bad news. I got some bad news.
He is passed.
He is passed.
I don't know that that's bad news.
He patented the modern paper straw in 1888.
What?
Yeah, so he's no longer.
All
with
right.
us.
Well, then whoever lobbied the government to have them put in everywhere.
But it is one of those things where you don't know what you got till it's gone. I spent 0% of my time prior to the paper straw movement appreciating plastic straws.
Yeah.
They were just kind of there. Not really a convenience thing for me. It was just, okay, this is a straw. Didn't really think twice about it. Then you take it away, and now you get to realize how good they are.
Now you'll even sometimes celebrate the hybrids. You ever gotten a hybrid?
got a
It's
hybrid.
Like, it's like half plastic, and you're like, I mean, I guess this is better than the fucking paper.
Yeah, I would even settle for, how about we meet you in the middle? The top half of the straw is plastic. Bottom half
Okay.
is paper.
Okay. You could talk me into this.
Like, ease us into the whole paper thing. There's nothing worse than the paper just falling apart in your mouth.
Or when you have it like you have a top and you put it through the little hole and then it like
the sound.
Splinters.
Yeah,
it just like
folds.
cuts through it.
Yeah, the teeth.
When it starts getting
The
watery.
teeth have their way with the paper.
The sound
Yeah.
of a paper straw going into a plastic lid makes me want to die.
That's the sound of the Democratic National Convention for
Yep.
Big T.
Yep. You could hear it all the way from the United Center.
Have you seen that meme with the what are those plastic things that are on like 6-pack of cans or whatever, that
Yeah.
little plastic thing? That was on like a bedpost, and a dude put underneath and said, "Who's been a bad sea turtle?"
I saw something, I'll need to find it, but I saw something recently that whole thing is like completely fake news. I need to find it.
Oh, that
What
turtles get caught in that stuff?
Yeah. I'll find it. Don't worry about it. Y'all keep talking.
Because for a while there was a movement where you should cut every single one of those plastic rings before you throw them away,
Yeah.
so that turtles don't get caught in them.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about turtles, so
Maybe fish could get caught in them. I'm gonna put Bill Cosby on my shit list.
Okay.
Bad
Is he
guy.
still alive?
Yeah.
no, you just killed him.
I just haven't heard from him in a while.
You know how we do.
Nah, Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter has lived long enough to negate every other person that's died.
I think he just is the exception, not the rule.
I guess we'll see. If Bill Cosby dies in the next few days, I'll take responsibility. Some would argue some people should thank me.
Credit, I would say
Yeah.
I
credit.
was
Yeah. Don't say responsibility.
he looked bad. He looks bad. Last couple pictures I've seen him, he looks bad. You know who else looked bad? Bill Clinton looked bad, dog.
Yeah.
He's old.
Bill Clinton, he about to kick it, bro. But I just don't feel like he's that old, because like
Well, he's about the same age as the current president, so he's
yeah, he-
3 years
yeah, I guess
younger.
so.
Oh, I forgot Joe Biden was president.
I said this, I think, the other day. When he came out at the DNC, I forgot he was the president.
Yeah. That's wild. Joe Biden's the president.
Something bad's going to happen
Okay.
Whoa.
in these next few months while where our
Whoa.
country has no leadership.
Sounds a little lone wolfy there.
Nah, chill. But like we have no leader.
I'm just saying that's how it starts.
You were Putin.
Yeah.
He might ruin football season.
You motherfucker. You better not. Arian's having a good start to football season. He's got a coffee warmer. You really put your foot on the gas when it came to this coffee business.
No free ads, but this is just, it's been a little green button.
Yeah.
It has 3 different settings. It's warm, hot, and piping. And it's beautiful because, like, if you're on a podcast, you got your coffee. You know how it gets down to the end, it gets a little cool?
Mm-hmm.
It should keep it hot, dog. I'm a fan.
And how many cups are you up to a day?
I'm sticking true to my word. I don't drink it every day. I only drink it when I feel like I need it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have self-control. You know what I'm saying? I'm a functioning alcoholic. You know, I have self-control.
Caffeaholic, yeah.
Caffeaholic.
I think
functioning caffeaholic.
We should make macrodosing coffee mugs, and it just says "I'm macrodosing" on them.
Oh
yeah.
I
like that.
I love. Oh, please, yes.
I'm macrodosing. I feel like people would buy that.
Yeah.
And I want to like somehow throw coffee in the middle of our in macrodosing, but it doesn't really fit anywhere.
What do you mean throw coffee in the middle?
Like in parentheses, like mac coffee row dosing, but like it doesn't make sense.
I think just saying I'm macrodosing is good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that.
I had
Macro roasting.
Oh,
wait. Okay, we'll do 2.
I like that. So I've been having coffee. My diet continues. By the way, we put the clip out of me talking about how nothing that is good for you actually tastes good.
Yeah, you kind of got
Well,
roasted.
no, I'd say the reaction was like 50-50. A lot of people were saying, yeah, preach. Thank you for finally speaking the truth. And then a lot of people were like, well, you're telling yourself because you can't cook. A lot of people saying that's actually not true. You can eat all the steak you want. And no problem. Like, you can't say
That's also not true.
You can't say anything about your diet online and then have everyone's going to yell at you about something. So if I said, like, you can't eat steak every day, there are a contingent of people out there that swear that you can eat steak every single day and get in the best shape of your life. All I'm saying is that from what's commonly accepted as good dieting practices, you have to eat lean proteins, occasionally some fatty fishes. You have to eat a lot of vegetables and be selective in which fruits that you eat. Stay away from most grains, most carbs, and the result of that is you get shit that sucks to eat. I stand by that.
Yeah, that's not true.
Okay, I stand by it. I'm having coffee with my breakfast now, and I'm putting olive oil into my coffee, and then I'm frothing that, which is not good, but it's good for you.
Wait, I saw your Instagram story. What is the olive oil doing for you?
Supposed to get more olive oil to lower cholesterol in general. There was a whole movement of bulletproof coffee. I don't know if you remember that. That might have been before your era.
No, I remember that kind of, but I don't remember it being olive oil. Yeah.
It was butter.
Okay, yeah. I don't get how that helps your heart.
Putting olive oil in? Because it's good for you.
Wait, isn't olive oil like one of the most like calorically dense foods?
I don't think so. I think it's one of the lower cal oils. I think like you got your peanut oil, which is very, very fat. You've got your lard, your Crisco's, that sort of thing. Your tallows, those are all very, very fat. And then you've got avocado oil, flaxseed oil, grapeseed oil. There are too many oils.
Half a tablespoon of olive oil daily may help reduce your risk of cardiovascular and heart diseases. Consider me proven wrong.
There you go. So the diet continues. And again, I'm not saying I'm not dieting. I am dieting, and I'm doing a good job. But I'm not going to pretend that it's good. I'm not going to pretend that this mix of tuna, radish, cucumber, Greek yogurt, jalapenos, and I think that's everything. I'm not going to pretend that it's good. I'm just food medicine. So we can.
But that's the thing about nutrition, and why if you post anything, somebody's going to have something to say about it, because there's no objectivity. They have like standards in which it's a higher probability of you being quote unquote healthy, but for the most part it's very person specific.
Yeah,
like what may be good for somebody may not be as good for somebody else because everybody's body's different. So I actually took a blood test and when I used to play, there was this doctor, he was sold on this, and like I said, I'm not a scientist, so I can't prove or disprove him. But it was fascinating. So you take a blood test, and he says there's certain foods that are good for you. And so you take a blood test, and he gives you this pamphlet, and he gives you a litany of foods that are the best for you and the worst for you. And so for me at the time, lamb was extremely good for me, and not sweet potato. What's the other one? That's kind of like a sweet potato. I don't know. But so he was like, you can eat this food as much as you want, and you'll lose weight. He's like, you can have pounds of it and you'll lose weight. And so I was like, bullshit. So I did the test, and I tried them out. A butternut squash, that's what it was. So I had like a bunch of butternut squash and a bunch of lamb and a bunch of cherries was another one. So I pigged out. I woke up in the morning, I lost 2 pounds. It was wild. And so the theory is like foods are specifically designed to heal, and we all have different anatomy. So it works different for different people.
So there's a movie director, Kevin Smith, that kind of had the same diet that he went on. And I think Penn Jillette, the guy from Penn and Teller, I don't know if he invented it, but he put Kevin Smith on this diet. Potatoes only. So
I did that.
Baked potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he lost 17 pounds in 9 days on it. And then he's lost a bunch more weight ever since then. But he eats potatoes every single day for the first 9 days. And then after 9 days, he starts working in like some vegetable-based stews. But you can apparently just eat potatoes and lose a lot of weight. But I feel like potatoes, they don't have fat. They don't have protein. They don't have a lot of stuff. Vitamins. There's no vitamins. Maybe there are in the skin.
There are.
But probably not enough to keep you healthy if you just eat potatoes, right?
No, but it's the most nutrient dense food on the planet. So I did that same thing. I did it for like a week. I think I did it for like I think it was 5 or 7 days. I can't remember. But I lost 9 pounds like that. And I just ate nothing but potatoes every single day. Baked them, put a little salt and pepper on them, and that's all I did was eat that. And you got sick of it after a while, but I lost weight.
So this guy, Spud Fit, he's a YouTuber. He lost 117 pounds over the course of a year eating only potatoes. He only ate plain potatoes for an entire year.
Yep.
That shit sucks.
Yes, potatoes have vitamin C, potassium, vitamin B6 in them.
I will not be doing the potato diet. But I have noticed I've had more energy eating better food. It's a real thing.
That is a fact. You will have more energy eating better food.
I'm getting better sleep.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and bowel movements.
Yeah, my shits have been A tier. Like really, really good shits recently.
Yeah. Congrats, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I have a y'all tell me this. Am I allowed to do that, or is that stolen valor?
No, go for it. I think I told you to do this.
It was mostly geared towards Mad Dog and Mackenzie, but Big T wants to weigh in on it too. Arian, you can weigh in. I'm not sure if you've seen.
I don't want to weigh in. You just told me. Go ahead.
Y'all tell me this. What the fuck is demure?
I fear you may have already missed the boat.
Well, I called Hank demure yesterday because I've heard that it's a word that's been trending recently. So I said, Hank, you're so demure. And then that led us into a conversation about what demure is and what it means. We didn't really figure out anything close as to what it is. What is demure? Why is everybody saying demure?
So do you know what demure means just like in a day-to-day?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So
I don't. Fill me in.
Demure means like very classy, very it's like a woman who is very reserved and like shy and classy,
it means meek.
Yeah, unassuming, all of that. So there was this person on TikTok who they basically went viral because they kept making these videos saying like, do you see how I wear my makeup to my family dinner? Very demure, very cutesy, very mindful. And it was just like the way that they said it. And it kind of caught on. And they would do it for like anything. They'd be like, you see how I eat my dinner, very demure, very mindful. I don't make too much of a mess. I wipe off my hands every time I eat my flaming hot Cheetos. Just stuff like that. It was just kind of like random. And then it kind of caught wildfire. And yeah, it just became like everyone was like, see how I record my podcast, very demure, very mindful. I don't eat on camera. I don't chew gum into the microphone. Very demure, very mindful, very cute.
We are like a week too late, but you should make a very demure TikTok.
Okay. Or should I wait for like another month and then do it?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be funnier.
The other, yeah, but like demure basically, it came and went very quickly because there's not a lot you can do with it. It's just like a word.
Yeah.
Like, demure isn't going to enter my lexicon personally the way that slay has. And I know
slay,
I have...
half the words you say are slay.
Yeah. I mean, I have like clung to that word more than I should have in the past like 2 years. I've really used that one for all it's worth.
I think you use it almost exclusively in place of okay. Like,
yeah.
Like if we're going to record at noon, instead
Slay.
of saying okay, you say slay.
Yeah. Oh, well, and then now I turned it into it's Slayage McGee, Slaytown, USA. Like it turns into everything else.
Slaytown, USA.
Yeah. Like if someone like PFT, if you walked in here with if you were wearing like a really cute outfit and I thought you were looking very like slay today, I'd be like, oh my God, look at who entered Slaytown, USA.
I noticed you didn't say that to me when I walked in today.
Well, it's also
now
like,
that's all I'm thinking. Every time I
If
walk
you
in.
were.
Also, like I'm not gonna like.
What about Slaysville, population U?
Ooh, I haven't used that one. I'll pick that
Okay.
one. I'll pick up on that one. Like, yeah, yeah, I say, or like Slayage McGee. That's my big one now. I'll move on to that. But yeah, demure probably isn't going to enter my lexicon. I think that one has come and gone, or it's on its way out.
Okay.
But demure, yeah, it just means like, look at me. I'm sitting with my legs crossed. Very demure, very mindful. Like that's how you say it. Very demure, very mindful. Look at me. Or look like you right now where you're doing your health journey. Look at me eating my tuna. Very demure, very mindful of my waistline.
Okay. All right. I can get behind this.
Yeah, but you don't really have to.
Okay. It's gone.
It's on its way out. You should be focusing on week 1 football more than you should be focusing on
Thank you. I
demure.
needed somebody to tell me that. These are the things that we just trick ourselves into thinking are important until football's back.
Yeah.
It's an off season of distractions.
This is the last big kick that gets us into football season was demure. And then you said, you know what? I don't need to worry about this
what's
anymore.
next up? Do I have something that will get me through the next day? Just give me something new to pretend to care about for the next day.
Sabrina Carpenter's new album is good now.
No.
The Rizzlers in the New York office.
Very
That's big for
jealous.
big teams.
Very jealous of the New York office for the first time in forever.
We dropped this in the group chat yesterday, but AJ and Big Justice at Costco doing a Boomer Doom live, right?
I think, well, they were recording one.
Yeah, behind the scenes.
Yeah.
We got to see it. My take is I don't think that the dad was doing a bad job of producing the video. You see the behind
Agreed.
You see the behind the scenes and you see what he says and the cuts that I think he's making all the right choices there. He's like, okay, we should cut here. I should introduce this part. Now here's how you say that gets a boom, this gets a doom.
Do people think that these awesome videos just happen in one take?
No.
I mean, surely not.
Macrodosing takes 600 takes.
We
And
actually
then we
do
stitch it together.
We do the 3.5 hours 4 or 5 times.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we keep the gold and we throw out all the junk. Like we
Yeah, you should have told people that because we work hard. We're here.
We have a
So do
script.
AJ and Big Justice.
We're here 9 hours a day trying to get this shit right.
Yeah. It's a fact. Mad Dog just stops us 9 times in the middle of every sentence. She's like, "Okay, Big T, you should say that."
Yeah, majority of Big T's jokes are mad.
Yeah, they are.
Yep.
And his takes.
Right.
And his,
Especially the
political ones are all Mad Dogs. She made the recommendation that Arian should start drinking coffee.
Yeah,
couple weeks
and
ago.
she changed my entire life. So
Yeah.
I don't even like it to this day. It's just a good,
It's part of the
good,
bit.
good teammate.
It's a good bit, but I think he did
Yeah.
a good job producing it. If you think that they just push play or push record on the camera and then you get the magic of boom or doom, you have a lot to learn about the internet. There's a lot.
That kid is
goes into it.
1,000% going to file for emancipation.
Yeah, I just feel like it's child exploitation. I think it's really bad.
Talk to him, comrade Maddie.
I think it's really bad.
Child exploitation.
Why?
It's just
Why?
hard.
Because
One person's child exploitation is another person's industrial
Is boomer-
revolution.
you're one man's doom is another man's boom.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
That's
You think we'd have
good.
all these?
a great euphemism.
Yeah,
I
you
love
think
that.
we'd ever be able to send a ship across the ocean and like using coal for power if it wasn't for the hard efforts of a few thousand 6-year-olds?
Great point.
No. You think we would ever figure out the proper crop planting rotations and agriculture innovations that we've had in the last 500 years if people weren't having 17 children and putting them out to work in the fields?
Right, that's true.
Listen, child exploitation's gotten a bad rap.
Big Justice is atop what celebrity in America right now?
No, don't be crazy.
Million?
Okay, no. Y'all are being ridiculous.
I think you're underestimating how chronically online, or overestimating how chronically online other people in
Yes.
real life are.
Yo, you
That-
are a super fan, fam. I'm telling you.
No, that's
The
true.
majority of the
That's,
public doesn't know who these motherfuckers are.
I don't know if that's true.
If I didn't do this podcast and I didn't know you, I would never know what the fuck you was talking about.
Yeah,
You're obsessed with these.
You
niggas,
hang
and it's
out-
weird.
Nah, pause, chill.
you hang out with a lot of people in the office that watch their videos and then you get into them. I don't think that's the case for most people.
I think a lot of people are on Big Justice right now.
Maybe.
I think he's
Nah,
hot in the
bruh.
streets.
Rank these
Nah, bro.
dads in order from most overbearing to least overbearing.
Okay,
Wait, which one's the dad?
AJ.
AJ. He will be the first one that you have to rank. The Jackson father. What was his name? Was it
Joe
Joe
Jackson,
Jackson.
baby.
Joe Jackson? Number 2. Baby Gronk's dad,
Okay,
who's
well,
not actually. He's not Gronk, surprisingly.
right.
But where does he fit into that?
Oh, he's number one far and away, worst
Yeah.
to ever do it.
I think he's Baby Gronk's baby daddy.
Okay,
Because like if he can't be Gronk because that's already Gronk.
okay,
So Baby Gronk's baby daddy,
right.
Joe Jackson, and AJ.
In that order.
Okay, so you'd put AJ behind Joe Jackson.
From what I hear, Joe Jackson was pretty strict.
Yeah.
Now, his children did grow up to do great things.
Let's just not minimize it to great.
Oh, I thought
Legendary.
I thought-
may never
I thought
be
you were going to
replicated
jump
thing.
in and say all great things, but then I
I thought
remembered.
he thought I said bad things.
Yeah.
Okay. I
No,
see.
yeah, you just didn't go far enough, brother. There will never be another Michael Jackson.
I hope for the kids' sake, I hope not.
Innocent, bro. We went through this.
Whatever you
We
say.
can go right back to it. I mean, I'm on a cup of coffee, and if you got some proof, let's talk about it. If not,
You know way more about that than I do.
okay. Well, let's not make assumptions if we haven't read up on it.
Okay, so we'll go from
Proceed.
from
brother.
Arian's sticking point of this guy was wrongfully accused to Big T's. Scott Peterson, new Netflix documentary. Have you gotten a chance to see
Yeah,
it? Big
it
T?
stinks. There's like it's rushed. It's not
Okay, I
very
have a
good.
question about this because you think he's innocent, right?
I think he wasn't proven guilty.
Okay, true. So I watched a little bit of it, and not to not to beat off to a dead horse, but
Is that the phrase?
no, it was an old video that went viral. It's funny. He did some weird ass shit. You agree with that, right?
Yes.
Like he
No,
did some,
I
like,
think he
questionable
probably
ass-
did it.
Okay, well
They
then
just
we good then,
didn't.
never mind.
They just didn't prove it.
Yeah. Okay, I got it. All right, we good.
He
I thought you were convinced like there was some like reasonable. I don't even think there's reasonable doubt. Honestly.
he did that
I
shit.
think he did it.
I would need.
Yeah,
I
good.
need to go back because that doesn't even like the new one doesn't really have much of the trial in it. I would need to go back and watch like all the stuff about the trial, but they did a horrific job prosecuting it.
So he started dating another woman while he was still
Yeah.
He's still married to his wife who was pregnant, And then he was making future plans with his girlfriend on the side. And then when she found out that he was married, he told her that he just recently lost his wife, that she just passed away while she was still alive.
None of those are evidence of murder.
I have something about that too. This may be a hot take.
Bad person.
Shorty, that was the side piece. She realizes that Mans may have killed his wife, so she goes to the authorities, and the authorities is like, and this is weird too. He said, so we went to Radio Shack and got all the equipment. Like, you don't have that shit on deck. Like, you had to go to Radio Shack. But anyway, so they go to Radio Shack, give her all kind of equipment to record the conversations for him. And if you listen to some of that shit, the acting skills on her are kind of questionable. Like, and when I mean questionable, it's like, that's scary, right? Because she did such a good job coaxing him into saying some things that how many people are out there with false accusations that are as believable as that? That raised alarm bells in my book. Like when people call the police and, you know what I'm saying, like that kind of stuff, that's scary, dog. Like that she was that convincing.
That she was, well, she wasn't having to be that convincing. She was just talking to him about their relation. He was doing most of the talking, right?
Yeah, but it was the way she was. I'm saying, listen to her, listen back. She's like very like, she's acting. She did a great job acting. I'm not saying that's necessarily bad, but with somebody with malicious intent, that is bad. That's horrible.
The one thing I will say, not in his defense, but to explain why he was being weird during the search and all that, if you're that husband and your wife is gone missing, there's nothing that you can do in the eyes of the media that will make you look innocent. Because if you're out there leading the charge, then they're like, what's this guy doing? Why is he front and center? He's acting. And if you don't do anything, it's like, why isn't this guy doing more? So it's like you can't win in that situation. But he also did lie to the police about everything he was doing that day.
Nah, and
If
I let's say you got a shorty and y'all in love and you married, I don't give a fuck what the media says. I don't fuck what they think about me. This is how I'm thinking, right? Just as a man that's been in love before. I'm exhausting all my resources possible to find my lady.
Yeah.
Right. And if that's talking to the media, and if you assuming guilt for me, that's your own business, dog. I want to get this shit out there. Like I don't care how it looks, how you feel it looks. I want to get this shit out there. Like that's me. You wouldn't do that? Like you wouldn't exhaust all your resources possible?
No, I agree 100% with that. I'm just saying that the media will portray you and people will say, oh, this guy's doing too much, putting himself front and center. But I agree that that's what a normal person would do.
Yeah, yeah. And then in his interrogation too, he was like, yeah, whatever we got to do. Yeah. That type vibe.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Bad vibes. He's definitely guilty of having the worst vibes and also murder. So we got...
If the mistress never came forward, do you think he would have been convicted?
No.
Because other than that, they really didn't have anything.
They found her hair on like some piece of equipment that he had.
They had the anchors.
They had some of the anchors, but apparently he made multiple anchors. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that they would have.
I don't think so either.
But they did.
Right, so you think he was convicted of murder for cheating on his wife?
No, I think he was convicted of murder for cheating on his wife, lying about cheating on his wife, telling his girlfriend that his wife was dead when she was still alive.
That is weird.
And then her...
But preemptively.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, you said that.
Yeah, preemptive, before she was dead, saying that she passed away, and then lying about everything else. And also when you tie into account like where he took his boat, the equipment that they found, where her body was found. Yeah, all that together.
He did that shit.
I do think he did it.
Yeah.
But he was convicted on purely circumstantial evidence.
Which you can be sometimes. So in conclusion, Scott Peterson is the most guilty guy ever. I don't care if it's circumstantial.
He was found guilty.
He did it. The justice system works. But is he getting the death penalty?
I honestly don't. Well, they repealed it, right?
Yeah.
He got, like one of his appeals, I think they took the death penalty away.
Bad jury instructions or something like that.
Yeah, so he might just be in San Quentin for the next 20 years.
Would you rather do life in prison or just take care of me in 5 years.
I couldn't. Well, they don't. It doesn't take 5. It takes 20. I guess I couldn't. I don't know. Walking into a room knowing they're gonna kill you,
and not only that, but you have to just think that, like your entire life, one day I will walk into a room. And
yeah, I think that's so much worse.
It might be. Yeah. All right, so he's guilty. He did that shit.
Also, now we've run out of a lot of states have run out of the drugs, and so they're trying. And they're
experimenting.
The companies are European, and they've decided they won't sell them to us anymore.
Yeah.
And so now they're trying all these new different things that aren't killing people right, and they're like dying horrible, awful deaths.
We're America. We should be able to kill people right.
How do we not have all our drug companies? We can't make those.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
Bring the jobs
Just
back.
stop
home.
killing people.
No, Arian,
Stop killing people.
Yeah, I agree with Arian. I am anti-death penalty. I think I've said before, if it happened to somebody, if somebody was killed in my family, and I would absolutely want the murderer dead. I would want to kill him myself, and I'd be like, I hope all the worst thing happens. I hope that you die, but you can't think about it from like just that perspective. Like, what if it happened to you? You got to think about the bigger picture.
Have you seen this video? It was on TikTok the other day. This story I have not researched the story, but the story I saw in the comment section was, so the video is the police are marching this guy through handcuffed, who apparently like sexually molested this guy's son or something.
Yeah.
And the dad is like right there.
It's a classic video. It's from Louisiana. What was the guy's name? Yeah.
It was, and he just pulls out a gun, shoots the guy in the head.
Yep.
And the cops go like, damn it, Jerry, or whatever. They're like, why?
Yeah.
And like,
that guy became a hero after that.
Yeah, so I guess that is the story.
Yeah, the guy, he had kidnapped that dude's son and I think molested him, and then they caught the guy, and as they're walking through the airport, his dad, the father of the child in this case, was at a bank of payphones pretending to use the payphones, just waiting for this guy to get walked through, and he puts the payphone down, turns around, shoots him in the head, kills him. I think he was found guilty of some crime, maybe like third-degree manslaughter. I don't think he spent a day in prison.
Gary Plauché.
Philosophical question for y'all. I think I know where both y'all stand, but it's just interesting to kick around because a lot of our, like, just speaking about the death penalty, right? Like a lot of our legislation that we put forth has to do with like emotional reactions to things that happen in society, right? But that's not necessarily the best course of action all the time for the entirety of our society, right? So for instance, like you said, PFT, like if somebody in my family was dead, I would absolutely want to see them dead, but I don't think it's best for the entire population because the probability of us getting every single death penalty case correctly, that means it's low. Or I don't know the exact probability, but it would be innocent people. That would be innocent people that are dead. So do you think we should legislate from a perspective of emotion or legislate from a perspective of rationale and or evidence-based
I don't think that we really do either one. I think we legislate from a position of people trying to get reelected.
No, I agree. But what I'm saying is, should we?
Well, so I think in like individual cases, if it's 100% certain that a guy, like the dude up in Buffalo, went into the Buffalo supermarket and shot 10 people, and he's not getting the death penalty in the state of New York. He might get it from the federal level, which is interesting because we basically stopped giving the federal death penalty to anybody, but since it's a hate crime, he might end up getting it. But like an individual like that, a mass shooter that does it, and for whatever reason, these people are getting taken alive more frequently than they are getting shot or killing themselves. It used to be if you were a mass shooter, you'd pop yourself at the end of it, and then that was the end of that. But more and more people are actually getting arrested, which is crazy. But for an individual like the mass shooter, that person, I can completely understand. That person should be dead. That person should not have the ability to harm anybody, whether physically or just throughout the remainder of their lives. That person should be dead. But like Arian said, if you get 100 people and 92 of them are guilty, 8 of them are innocent, then you've just killed 8 innocent people. And if you look at the death penalty, it's like, what is the death penalty for? What do we use it for? We use it, is it a deterrent? Because it's not a deterrent. It hasn't worked. Since we put in death penalty in all these states, murder rates have not gone down. So it doesn't work as a deterrent. We know that. Is it just for vengeance? In which case, it's probably the strongest argument you could make. It's just like, you need your pound of flesh too. But should we legislate from a point of vengeance? I don't think that we should. And, if you end up murdering innocent people because you thought that they were found guilty, like in the pedophile thing, if a pedophile is somebody who cannot be rehabilitated, they're going to damage kids that then turn into adults that damage other kids, or turn into adults that have, severe issues, then that person would be better if they were no longer in society. But if you catch 100 pedophiles and then you have 5 people that are caught that weren't actually pedophiles, then you kill those 5 people too. Is that a good thing, to sacrifice like 5 completely innocent people for 100 guilty? I would say legislate from the point of rationality, but that's not what happened. People legislate because they want their names on bills that will make their constituents happy, and that way they can get reelected.
Fair enough. Did you see your boy? What was Buddy that we had on our podcast? George Santos?
Oh yeah.
Or he just got like indicted.
He's never done a crime. He told us he never broken the law. Yeah, good old Georgie boy. He's fun having in Congress though. It's always good to have like 1 or 2 of those guys in there. Like the Democrat from New Jersey, the guy where they found like gold bars in his apartment or whatever, like the most corrupt person in the history of politics. It's fun to have a couple guys that you can just point at and be like, look at these clowns.
Yeah, but I'd rather not.
Yeah, true.
I'd rather have people like who know what the fuck they talking about, who know what's going on, without any press behind them.
I just searched George Santos on Twitter, and a tweet of his from October of last year came up, and it's a meme of himself. It says, "They're not after me, they're after you. I'm just in the way." And there's a community note that says, "They are in fact after Representative Santos, who is accused of stealing money from his own donors, among other offenses."
Yeah, he tried to do the Trump thing. He tried to be like, I'm just a representative of everything that you believe in. And nobody liked him, so they were all just like, no.
For all the shit people talk about Elon, who does suck most of the time, and Twitter has gotten substantially worse, the community notes are fantastic.
You like those?
Yeah, they're good.
There have been a couple times when Elon has gotten community notes, and then he'll like cry to community notes.
Really?
And claim that he's getting unfairly community notes. Yeah.
It's fair and balanced.
Yeah, it is. They go after everybody.
It's so funny. Have you seen the ones like the Jones where they'll be like, because like he's all about free speech and shit, right? So they'll be like, this is the free speech platform. The left's trying to ruin free speech, and then underneath somebody else types cisgender in, and then they get their post flagged because cisgender is a form of hate speech. That he changed calling people cisgender as a form of hate speech.
Did you see Zuckerberg wrote a letter to Congress saying he regrets being bullied by Biden?
Nuh-uh, I haven't seen
it. I don't know what the letter was in response to, but he said he admitted that they were pressured by the White House in 2021 to remove COVID posts and Hunter Biden laptop stuff, and they did it, and he said he regrets it and would never do it again.
Well, in the Hunter Biden thing, that was before the election. So it was Trump's FBI that warned Mark Zuckerberg about the laptop stuff.
Correct.
The COVID stuff.
In a separate situation, the FBI warned us of a potential Russian disinformation operation about the Biden family and Burisma in the lead up to the 2020 election.
Yeah, in the COVID stuff.
Wait, so Trump's White House is participating in it as well?
Well, the FBI.
But it's still Trump's White House, no?
Well, that's not the White House. It's the FBI.
It's federal.
But
sure.
Now,
not everything in the federal government is the White House.
But wait, Big T, you were just saying it was the Biden administration.
In 2021, it was the Biden White House.
Yes,
and then
that is correct.
This is what I'm saying, Big T. This is what I'll be saying about you, bro. In every instance, like in every instance that you have an opportunity to criticize Trump, you don't do it.
No. I lumped them together incorrectly at the
No,
beginning.
you have never. Matter of fact, fuck all that. Give me a Trump criticism. Give me one.
I think he does
That's not
himself
surface level.
a huge disservice by talking crazy the way he does.
Okay, so give me a real Trump criticism.
That is a real criticism.
No, that's not. That's like that was a backhanded compliment. You said he does himself a disservice because if he just conducted himself in the right, it was like a give me something that you feel like he's done incorrect, that he has done.
He set the stage for ruining the economy with how he let Fauci run rampant in COVID at the beginning.
Even in your Trump criticisms, it's not him; it's somebody else.
No, that was completely his fault.
Okay,
he let the economy get shut down.
Okay.
He's not like he's not really a Republican. I think you think I am super into Trump.
No, I don't think you're super into Trump. I think that you are.
I actually it's a criticism of him generally, but it's that the last 3 elections, this one and the previous 2, and I will get back to what we were talking about before, because this one and the previous 2 elections should have been the 3 easiest cakewalks of all time, because somehow the Democrats have managed to run 3 of the 4 most unelectable candidates in American history back to back to back, and the 4th is the guy that the Republicans are running against him, and he's going to go 1-2 when it should have been 3-0 in a landslide each time.
Why do you feel like it should have been a landslide?
Because they ran Hillary Clinton, the most unelectable candidate we've ever had in any capacity whatsoever, Joe Biden, who was half a corpse, and Kamala Harris, who until 3 months ago, even Democrats took as a joke and nobody has ever taken seriously. And now she is the savior of the party, having never received a single vote from anybody. Why
do you think that is? I'm curious as to why you think that is.
Well, I think it's because the media props up the Democrats, but it's also you don't think that's true?
I don't think that's why.
I couldn't care less about the media. I think people in the Republican Party refuse to admit that even though I could disagree on Trump's policies all day, which I do, but he's demonstrably toxic. He's demonstrably divisive, and
the left is demonstrably divisive.
Yeah, I hear you. But Kamala is not a response to people flocking towards her policy. Kamala is a direct response to anything but that dude.
Yes, agreed. She doesn't have any policy. The ones she has are taken from Trump. She wants a wall now.
But see, even that shit is just that's his divisive rhetoric. So instead of saying, "Hey, here are 2 parties that agree on a policy that can be bipartisan," how did they spin it? She's not original. See, it's nonsense, dog. If in a world where everybody says we need to come together, if they have a policy agreement, why can't we say, "Hey, that's dope. We agree on that," rather than she's just taking it from Trump? It's silly.
Well,
but it's spurred by him, and then the Democrats in response respond to him with the same kind of bullshit. It's like little kid games.
I think Democrats are right now looking like they're pumped about Kamala because they were very, very depressed after the Joe Biden debate performance, and they just resigned themselves to, okay, we're going to get Trump again, and then okay, we have a new person that we can get behind. It's not going to be Biden, and so they're just pumped that they have somebody to run against Trump. And it's mostly I don't know any Democrats out there that love Kamala Harris for her policy. I do know Democrats out there that love Kamala Harris because she's a young version of a candidate that can possibly defeat Donald Trump.
I've seen 2 actual policy proposals of hers so far, both of which would crash the economy.
Crash the economy.
A 25% tax on unrealized gains, which is money that does not exist.
Now, I don't think that's actually her policy.
It is. She's
because I saw
put it out,
I
a
saw
45% capital gains tax and 25% tax on money that does not exist, and then a 25.
Tell me something real quick. You're against capital gains taxes?
I'm against it being 45%.
Have you ever had capital gains?
Yes.
How much?
I mean, not millions of dollars, but I have stocks.
So, to my knowledge, capital gains is what she wants to tax is over a certain amount, correct?
So the unrealized gains tax is the way they're spinning it is, well, it's only on individuals worth $100 million or more. But those people are going to stop owning assets, and they're going to have to offload shit that's going to disrupt the entire economy.
Unrealized capital gains is only on people that are worth $100 million or more.
Correct.
Yes, so it's not unrealized capital gains on anyone who's even.
I just said that.
Yeah.
But you are lying if you say that will not have massive ramifications on the economy.
What ramifications?
Those people are going to have to offload. So
this is what I don't get about
rich people need to pay more in taxes.
I don't know why Republicans or conservatives in general bang for like the ultra wealthy like this and then vote for a candidate that does nothing but give them tax breaks because of the theory that they're going to distribute that wealth. It's demonstrably not true. They have done metadata analysis on these things, and these ultra rich people don't do that. They just hoard their money.
Trump gave middle class tax breaks.
That you didn't hear anything I said.
I did.
The billionaires tax would impose a 25% minimum tax rate on all taxpayers with a net worth above $100 million, which is not. That's kind of a deceptive name for it.
The other thing, by the way, which is not, this is to the opposite end of the spectrum, is the $25,000 first-time home buyer assistance thing.
Yeah.
Which we have a supply problem in the housing market, which she's going to somehow fix by creating more demand, and that's going to make it infinitely worse.
So yeah, the problem with housing is that a lot of our houses are being purchased by people that flip them or don't live in them, right?
Yes. So she's going to create a massive spike in demand for housing, which is, even if the prices weren't going to just go up $25,000 anyway, now they're going to go up way more than that because there's so many more people trying to buy houses.
Why are they going up though?
I mean, they go up forever.
Now,
but why?
Isn't the $25,000 that's for like a down payment?
Hold
right?
on. Why does housing go up, Big T?
I don't know what you're getting at.
The problem is the greed of this economy. Like, prices don't go up magically. They set the price because the demand is high. So instead of saying, "Hey, I want to have a property that's affordable for people to live in," you say, "Hey, a lot of people want it. I'm gonna jack the prices up." Like, that's the issue.
So how do you fix that?
Well,
it's not my...
Okay, I don't know if this is true. I am the furthest away from an expert about any sort of this shit, so I might be talking on my ass. In fact, I probably am. But in theory, if there's somebody out there that's worth $500 million, right? Let's say they bought 10 houses, and all those houses are each worth $1 million when they buy them. And every year they go up in value. From the guy that's worth so much money, wouldn't you be more likely to sell those houses and increase demand if every year you were getting taxed unrealized capital gains on those houses?
So run that by me one more time.
Oh, okay. The houses, if there's somebody out there that is a billionaire that owns a bunch of houses, right? They bought even 100 houses, and they're using it because all those homes are going up in value, and that way they have more that they can borrow against to just get cash from the bank. They have all these assets in their back pocket. I own 100 houses. Give me this loan for $5 million. You know I'm good for it. I've got all this stuff to back it up. That's what they're doing right now. But
okay, so
if there was an unrealized capital gains tax, every year you're paying a tax on the homes that you own instead of just parking your money there and leaving these houses under your control, then you have more. Now you have more motivation to sell those houses.
That's going to make the price go up, not down.
If more people are selling houses,
now you have to pay a $70,000 tax on that property. You're not going to lower the price on it.
But it increases supply.
Sure, but it doesn't drive the price down. It drives it up.
But if there was more supply, then that would drive the price down. Sure, somebody might not buy the house for the inflated price that you're asking for, but if there's more houses on the market and there are more qualified home buyers, wouldn't that favor the buyers rather than the sellers? I don't know. Again, I'm not an expert.
Also, I have a bridge to sell you if you believe that would be implemented and stay that way forever. Only on individuals making $100 million.
You think it'd come down?
The income tax was pitched as 1% to 5% for the highest earners in America.
So I guess
it would be the first taxation in American history that was not eventually applied to the entire population.
So how does this go if we're trying to bring down home prices and we can't help people? We can't make homes more affordable for people that might need a boost. And we can't.
I don't know, but I know it's
people to sell the houses.
But I know it is not creating more demand when you have a supply problem.
Right now, there's a problem. We can agree on that.
Yes,
and we can point at Biden, we can point at Trump, we can point at Obama, we can point at Bush, point at Clinton, we can point at the last 30 years or more of policy. So we got a problem. So now we got to figure out how to solve it, right?
Why? So tell me this then, because it sounds like we would agree on this. Why shouldn't she say companies or individuals worth more than $500 million can't own more than 10 homes?
I like that.
Because that solves the problem you're talking about, and it doesn't create the additional problems.
But now we're talking about government controlling commerce.
That's what you're discussing already.
I know, but if you're putting in limits, you're fixing prices, and that's a problem too, right?
She's trying to fix the prices.
Well, she's trying to give people money to be able to afford them, which could end up doing the reverse of what she wanted, which I acknowledge is a possibility for sure. But anything that the government does, besides doing nothing, could be looked at a form of price controls.
I guess that's
she is trying to institute price controls. She has said that.
But if you can't sell 10, if you're limiting people from buying 10 houses, is that not major government overreach to say we're going to control what you can and can't buy?
But that's what this policy is.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's the same.
So it's the same thing, except that one could potentially fix one of the issues, whereas the other one is only going to create an additional problem.
I'd be fine with saying that these big institutions can't own more than 10 homes. I'd be very fine with that. Yeah.
Even take away the individual part of it, because if somebody is rich enough to have 12 houses, fine. Corporations worth more than $500 million can't own single-family homes.
Well, then you're going to get people doing LLCs and forming shell companies just to buy houses. They'll figure out ways around that.
I mean, there's only so much you can do on that front. But.
Yeah, but people should be able to buy houses. Let the people buy houses.
So is it your belief, Big T, that the government should not interfere at all in the market?
No.
That is not your belief. What is your belief?
I mean, we have the government is in the market all the time.
Agree. So that's what I'm saying. Like, what level of interference should the government?
Ideally, minimal.
You have a magic wand. What does that mean, though?
Not this.
Okay, but there's no like.
I mean, you're asking an impossible question to answer. Like,
well, I think that's my issue with libertarians, right? Libertarians in general, which I think you lean more towards that worldview, is they hate government interference when they don't like government interference, but there's really no gauge on how much they can't agree on how much government interference should be.
Well, I mean, like you were talking about earlier, the problem is that prices keep going up because people keep jacking them up. I mean, that is what it is. If you have something that's in demand, I have no problem with people making money on that. Like,
I think that's would you not agree that like that isn't it? Okay, so like during the pandemic when everybody's struggling, like you believe that an egg company should be able to jack up prices because everybody wants eggs. You
I
think
think that's
that's
different. That's
egg.
definitely different.
How's that different? People need houses
Sure. Okay.
probably more than they
Okay.
need eggs.
But you're talking about, so my parents live in Nashville. Nashville right now,
Okay.
tons of people are moving to Nashville. Every house in Nashville has gone up exponentially in the last 5 to 10 years because people are
Hmm.
trying to move there because it's like a cool, good place to live. It,
Hmm.
the price of things are gonna go up when you have that kind of demand for it. That's not like people being evil, because
I disagree.
really,
Yeah,
I don't get that.
I know. I think that is the fundamental difference in our worldview. I think that in this economy, like in a capitalist system, it's geared towards infinite growth when we know that it's impossible to grow infinitely. And so there is no, all right, we're good. So let's keep things at a manageable prospect or a manageable pace. I'm sorry. That's not the norm because what are we trying to do? Grow, 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 sell, 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 sell for this imaginary uh dream that we're chasing, rather than having an economy and a place. And granted, this is extremely utopian, but imagine a world where like dog, there is a set place and a set price that you can't go past this because it gets to the point where people can't afford it. To me, that's okay. Like that's
Okay.
fine. Like why would you not want to live in
Okay.
that
Well, then
world?
you
This
have
is
to be
exactly
you
what
have to
Jesus
be able to
talks
answer
about.
this then. So
Okay, go ahead.
houses vary wildly in size, shape, whatever, location.
Hmm.
So then what's the max? And like, are there
For a
different
house?
maxes?
Yeah, sure. I mean, that
Is
would
it
be
like
all
a
contingent on.
dollar per square foot maximum? Like, what is the?
Yeah, that would be all. That would be all like different variables, different. Obviously, the market would uh offer different things. What that's to me that would be the nuance of it, right? But to me, that's where a government would step in, and it's the reason why they don't allow monopolies because if it gets too big, then like people struggle. And to me, that is the fundamental difference between our worldviews is like I actually, and I'm not saying you don't, but like I consider people when I vote for politicians with that policies, well, I consider them. And so like a prime example is like I was watching it was a while back, Beto O'Rourke. You remember him? He
Mm-hmm.
ran against Ted Cruz. They were talking about giving healthcare to undocumented people. And I think it was Sean Hannity was like, well, you want the taxpayers to like fund this? And he was like, what? Well, yeah. Like, what happens if somebody goes into the 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 emergency room? He's like, you, so they deserve because they're humans. They deserve that. And he's like, and if I don't think they do, what am I a bad person? He's like, well, yeah, you can watch them die. That is the alternative. People living in homeless place, people that are homeless, people that are starving. In my worldview, which is in concordance with the majority of Christians' worldview, because it's the teachings of Jesus, you should do everything in your power to give people food and homes and like that. But to me, the the idea of a market overrides the idea of your humanity, not yours, but a lot of people's worldviews humanity. And they're like, well, that's it. You have to work for that shit. And it's like it's just the opposite of what they believe in when you break out what they actually believe in. And it's just I don't
So
understand it.
I
I
have I
genuinely
have
don't
another
understand
question to ask you, but I want to address that. So
it. Hmm.
I don't know how many homeless people there are in the United States. A lot. Um. So what do you? Most homes in the U.S. are owned by private citizens. So
Hmm.
what do you propose? Are you proposing people like give their houses to homeless people? Like what?
No, I think we have a federal budget, a federal military budget that far exceeds what it needs to be, and we spend the majority of our money. Well, we spend. I think the majority of our money goes to like Social Security, but we're talking hundreds of billions of dollars on defense, right? that could help homeless people, that could help people with healthcare, that could help people. Like this is where being a progressive comes in. People, they call us delusional, but it's like I rarely see Republicans say, "How are we going to pay for this war?" Only when it's a war that they don't like Ukraine, right? How are we going to pay for this? Easy. And then when progressives say like, well, can we give people healthcare, or can we help with affordable housing, or can we help with this? Like, how are we going to pay for it? How are you going to pay? These questions are never asked. When we had to go to Iraq, not one Republican's like, how are we going to pay for this? Nobody cares.
So I think I'm close to agreeing with you, but you have to work with me on this next one, and I don't think you're going to. So, what was I going to say? So this is my biggest, I think it's probably my biggest problem with the left right now. So there is a bill that just passed in California to give illegal immigrants $150,000 in taxpayer-funded, state-supported home buyer assistance. Are you down with that?
I read some of the bill, and I think the wording of it is a little bit misleading. I think it's being thrown in the Democrats want open borders stew.
Wait, just to set the table here, it's a $150,000 loan. They would be eligible to receive a $150,000 loan.
But the only interest is 15 to 20% of the additional value if and when they sell the house.
Okay, so I was in a project like this in Austin. It wasn't for immigrants, but it was for people that didn't make a lot of money.
This is exclusively for illegal immigrants.
Okay, so well, it's probably harder for them to get a home loan in general, if not impossible. But I bought a house, and it was sold to me at under market value because I qualified for this program. And the thing was, when I end up selling the house, I had to give all the profit from the sale of the house back to the program that was finding new buyers. So I didn't make any money off the sale of the house. I just essentially like parked some of my money there. I was able to own a home for a little bit, and then I was able to sell it to somebody else that qualified for that. Now, if I couldn't find somebody else that qualified for that assistance, then I would be entitled to keep the profit from it. But there were still people that were looking for it. So that got flipped to them. I think that's a very good program for people to be able to buy their first home, and somebody that might not be making as much money as, that might get priced out of cities.
But here's, I am so, like, I'm with Arian. We are the richest country in the history of the world. We pay a shit ton in taxes. I want that money helping Americans.
Yeah.
And there are programs in California, New York now that are not only doing the, helping Americans and people who are here illegally, exclusively people who are here illegally and not American citizens.
Yeah.
And I think that's crazy.
I think that.
But how's that crazy?
Because we just went over, because we just went over. Well, let me answer your question. Let me answer, and then you can say whatever you want.
All right. Well, that was more
okay. Well, but I have an answer for it. It is crazy because we just went over the fact that there are millions of American citizens facing the prospect of, how am I ever going to be able to buy a house? It's probably the biggest crisis facing like people my age right now. And you are going out of your way to take money, a lot of money, and give it to people who aren't American citizens instead of helping your own people first.
All right. So this is where we fundamentally disagree, right? Where I don't view, like, I view people as people. And when you're like, you have to help your own people first, that America is not, it's not homogenous. There's not like, you live in a world where there is immigrants. Like, you live in a world where there's immigrants.
Well, then you just have to argue for not having a border.
Let me land my plane, my brother. Let me land my plane. Immigrants in California have paid billions in taxes, but they reap very little benefits because they're undocumented. So this program was specifically designed to help people, especially first generation people, to help them buy, put down some money on a home. And so whether you like it or not, you live in a country with millions of immigrants, and they pay massive amounts of taxes that help our economy, that don't directly, matter of fact, very indirectly. It rarely goes to them. And so a bill that can help somebody sustain a home, to me, makes sense. If they paid no taxes, I could understand it. But they pay taxes.
Well, they pay sales taxes. They pay
Those are taxes.
They pay property taxes, and they pay, like, in their rent, they pay for their property owner's property tax.
But you can have undocumented people can have. It's not a social security number, but it's like a what is it? Fuck. It's a it is an identification number where you can pay taxes on, and they do that, and they've paid billions. I think it's like 100 billion or something like that they've paid taxes. I think it was like last year. Undocumented people pay taxes.
So then why not have that proposal be for anybody?
If you're telling me there has been no home loan programs for Americans, we don't live in we don't live
well in California. I don't know, but this proposal specifically is not.
But and again, conservatives are very against marginalized groups being taken care of. Like, or I wouldn't say
that's not true at all.
I said minority groups being taken care of, because then they say, "What about us?" This country has been set up to help the majority. It was set up like that, and so when you do something to address a minority group, that is viewed as some kind of like reverse discrimination, when it's not the case. People that pay taxes that are undocumented deserve to have homes. That is my viewpoint. Now, let me say, I've read the legislation. I saw the legislation. Like, I'm not an expert in the housing market, but from my very layman's understanding of it, that's what it's proposed to do. People that pay taxes that are undocumented, it's a step towards them having a home, because in California, billions of dollars have been made off of tax-paying undocumented people. And so they're just saying, yeah, you deserve to have a home and a pathway to citizenship. Now, then this is where it's just, I guess, not even infuriating. It's very confusing. Jesus specifically spoke about this, about neighboring people and taking them in. If this ain't that, I don't know what
I am not excluding them. I'm saying, why does it need to be only for them when we have an entire generation of Americans who pay far more in taxes than that group of people who are not getting this same treatment?
Well, I think you're mistakenly thinking that there has never been a program for American citizens to be helped out with home loans.
Sure.
And if you think that's the case,
no, that's not true.
I know. So what? So if you know that there has been home loan programs for Americans, and then you see this program that's specifically designed to help people that are undocumented, why are you not seeing both sides?
Because I would need to see what programs there are in California right now, as there is a housing borderline crisis.
Let's look at it together.
Okay. And what?
Type in and tell me what you see. Is there any program to help American citizens get a home loan in California? And I have not looked at this, but it would surprise me if there are zero. It would surprise
I guarantee
me.
you it's not $150,000 interest-free loan.
See, here we go. This is what I'm saying, man. This is what I'm saying. Like, it's helping people have a place to live, and it's just, I don't
Okay,
get
then
it.
tell me this. Then tell me this. Then tell me this.
Because
you won't have that out on this one. So in New York,
I won't have that.
Correct. In New York, illegal immigrants could go get a debit card with, was it $5,000 or $10,000 on it?
I don't know what that case was.
This was pretty recently. Hang on, let me look that up. But there was a program, I don't know if it was in New York City or New York State. NYC to spend millions on new round of prepaid debit cards for migrants. New York City officials are dramatically expanding a controversial program that gives debit cards preloaded with cash to migrant families staying in taxpayer-funded hotels across the city. The Adams administration says another round of debit cards is expected to be distributed to more than 7,300 migrants over the next 6 months, costing the city about $2.6 million. What's $2.6 million divided by 7,300?
I'm the wrong one for that question.
Under the pilot program, a family of 4 with young children received about $350 per week for a month.
Okay, so $1,500.
City officials say the program is significantly less expensive than a previous program that delivered meals, which was expected to cost about $5.6 million over the next 6 months. So they're saying that this is going to save money by doing the debit cards. That's a tough one because it looks like they're intended to feed more than 1,300 children, 42 pregnant women. So they need food. They're like it or not, they are here in the United States under our care right now. So they have to be taken care of some way, somehow. Whether that's, I guess you could even put mass deportation in under that, which is probably its own expensive operation. But Big T, to be clear, you are in favor of progressive policies that help people buy houses, but let's make them offered to American citizens.
Well, I am not necessarily in favor of this, but if you're doing it, I find it egregious that it is exclusive to illegal immigrants when there are American citizens who are struggling greatly with this particular issue.
So you don't think that the government should play a part in helping people purchase houses?
I didn't even say that.
Like
I
monetarily.
Just exclusively to illegal immigrants. I think that's egregious right now.
Okay. I could see the claim, like, if people are paying a lot of taxes, if you're renting a home and you pay shitload of taxes every single month and you want to buy a house, you want to be like, well, where do I apply for a significantly discounted home loan?
Correct.
I understand that. I understand that sentiment a lot. But in California, you also have that interesting position you're in where your economy runs on illegal immigrants and you need them. And if they were all to be deported tomorrow, then the economy would crash. And so it's a long-term play to have people be able to afford to buy houses and then give them that stability that you get in your life. And then they go on to become very productive members of society and they assimilate to the United States and they end up making a good life for themselves. It's like there's not a lot that we can do right now. There's no perfect. If you got rid of every illegal immigrant in America right now, things would look drastically different.
So, Arian, what are your thoughts on having a border generally then?
In my utopia world or in today's world?
Just your opinion. Because it sounds like you don't want one.
In my perfect world, neither do you.
But why is that?
In a perfect, when you die, where you going?
Heaven, hopefully.
All right. Do they have borders in heaven?
I mean, kind of, yeah.
Keep the Methodists in their corner.
They have borders.
Well, there's another place.
That's a border.
It's there are people that are kept out.
Society,
yes.
In the society that is heaven, are there borders inside?
Well, that's
of
like
that
saying,
world?
are there borders inside of this studio? Like you could down to where you're sitting. The people have already been excluded.
But okay, all right. So you think that there are borders in heaven?
I mean, it's yes, there is a border.
There's a gate.
Okay. All right. There's a border.
Do you disagree with that?
Most Christians acknowledge that there's no borders in heaven. But there's
a border to get in,
and that's hell. Sure. Okay. That's what you want to go with it. In that case, I specifically disagree with God. All right, and that's not controversial because I'm an atheist. All right. So in my worldview, we should not have a place in which people can freely roam. In my worldview, we should not have a place in which that people are excluded and poor and hungry and are exploited. In my worldview, I would love for people to care enough about each other to not want to hoard what you have and give to other people. That is my worldview. But in today's society, it's not even close to realistic. It's not realistic. So yeah, we probably need borders right now because people are so far apart morally that some societies there's no cohesiveness. So that is a preemptive cause for war, which I'm anti-war as well. So in my utopia, no, I don't want a border. But in my reality that I occupy, yeah, of course, there has to be borders.
But then people can just disregard it willy-nilly and nothing happens.
What are you talking about?
Well, you were like, they're here. We want them to. It sounded like you wanted them to keep coming.
When did I ever say that?
I'd have to go back and find specifically what you said, but it sounded, you didn't say that verbatim, but it sounded like you were very much in favor of any immigration whatsoever.
Immigration is a net positive for this country. You disagree with that?
No. Some forms of it.
Okay. So why would I want immigrants?
Well, I said
I'm an immigrant.
Punters.
Against my
all
will, but-
forms.
Australian punters.
Yeah.
Okay.
So why would I not want immigration?
I don't know.
I think we solved it,
Okay.
guys.
There it
I think
is.
we came together and solved it. And I think our solution is agree to disagree.
Yeah, of course.
I think our solution is majority rules. So whoever gets more votes, they get what they want, and then the other person has to be upset that the other person got what they want.
I mean, it sounds like Kamala's going to build the wall, so maybe.
She said that? What'd she say?
Yeah, I think she said she wants a wall.
I mean, it makes sense.
Hang on, because I believe this is the article that had the great quote. Shit, now I can't find it. It was like Kamala has now said she wants the wall, which she called aggressively un-American when Trump proposed it or something like that.
I don't never think I thought it was aggressively un-American. I just thought that it was an impossible thing to construct. Because there's so much of the border that you can't put a wall on. And I thought it was just like a catchy tagline to say like build the wall because it's easy to understand, right? When you say build a wall. Oh, I get it. A wall. You can't get over a wall.
Kamala's saying build that wall.
Yeah, she's saying anything that'll get her elected. I think that her campaign is firmly in the mode where she's just trying to figure out what to say to get to the finish line, and then she'll figure out what she's going to do later. Which is, to be fair, the same thing for Trump.
In 2017, she called it a, quote, stupid use of money and vowed to block any funding for it. In 2019, she slammed the, quote, medieval vanity project and promised, I will not vote for a wall under any circumstances.
And she specifically said she's going to build a wall.
I'm trying to find the exact quote she said about the wall, but yes, she, in her DNC speech, proposed a southern border wall.
Her thing on Israel and Palestine was so funny during the DNC, too, where she basically said, I think everybody should be happy.
Well, she started off giving a much more staunch defense of Israel than I would have ever imagined, and then she pivoted into, but the Palestinians and went into the whole Palestine thing too.
Yeah,
which I imagine pissed off both sides.
Yeah, that when she said it, I don't think many people heard it and were very happy. I think you were mad at her no matter what side you were on.
It's because she's trying to placate to, like, she doesn't, like, Democrats, and this is where, like, far left people disagree with Democrats. Democrats agree with the state of Israel and are Zionists and believe that it has a right to exist and all of that. And progressives and far left people believe that this is not to be the case and there should be a ceasefire immediately. And she heard the cries from the far left and the protests from the far left, and so she felt like she had to address it. But you can't play both sides on this because one side feels like there's a massacre, and the ramifications from that are basically the destruction of Gaza, and the other side feels like you have tens of thousands of bodies on your hands. And so, if they feel like you're enabling a genocide, either there's no like, hey, both sides have a point here. It's like, you're complicit, and I understand it.
All right, let's get to Operation Paperclip, Project Paperclip.
I forgot we were doing that.
Yeah, let's talk about it. It's brought to you by Shady Rays. Get ready for game day with the latest addition to the Barstool Sports rival collection, Barstool College. Shady Rays, look at Big T. Big T, you look good.
Yeah, I love these.
That you were born to wear those shades.
These are game day personified.
That's Tennessee orange.
Oh yeah.
Is that what they call it, Tennessee orange?
Yeah, it's like on the color wheel, like the official thing.
You don't have like
151C.
What is it?
151C.
151C. It's the best orange.
Yep.
It's a great orange. You look good in it. Shady Rays partnered with Barstool to bring you a new lineup of premium polarized shades that are perfect for showing off your team pride. Yeah, Big T, you look powerful right now. You look like you're ready for game day.
I love these things.
Yeah, it looks like you're in a parking lot right now, and there's that buzz in the air. Maybe sky is slightly overcast, but still bright outside.
54 degrees.
54 degrees, and Big T is waiting patiently for cornhole. You're next up, and this damn game just won't end right before
I'm
you.
so good at cornhole, it's crazy.
Yeah, and everybody knows that by looking at you.
Exactly.
Because Big T means business with these rival shades. I got some JMU color ones. The Barstool College Collection features bold colorways inspired by some of the biggest names in college sports, ensuring that you will find the perfect pair to rep your team. Whether you're at the tailgate or in the stands, these shades deliver all-day comfort, top-notch performance. They are super comfortable. Plus, with Shady Rays hassle-free returns and exchanges, you can shop with confidence. Elevate your game day look with the Barstool College Collection. I predict that these are going to be massively popular this fall. You can get them in your school's colors. I recommend the Tennessee Orange.
These are my 11-1 sunglasses.
Who's lost to?
Georgia. That game doesn't even matter.
Okay. But I did hear from one college football expert that Nico for Heisman is a great play.
Love that. I agree.
Head over to ShadyRays.com. Use code MACRO. Get 35% off polarized sunglasses. That's ShadyRays.com. Promo code MACRO. You get 35% off these sunglasses. See for yourself why over 300,000 people have rated these shades 5 stars.
Should I do the rest of the show in sunglasses? Be PFT for the day?
Yeah. All right. Do a PFT impression.
Hey guys. You just sometimes do that voice.
That was good. Anything else?
Well, I understand what Big T's saying, but Arian too, like, I get it.
I'm Kamala.
Yeah.
PFT.
He both sides this man.
PFT Kamalator.
You know what you cook really well? Eric pancakes. Or waffles.
Oh, no.
Fuck.
Oh, no.
Fuck. Why'd I say pancakes?
You blew the punchline.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's the same shit. You flip them. You actually, waffling on a subject, it should be pancaking. You flip a pancake.
Yeah, you turn the waffle over. You turn the waffle iron over.
That's only in the hotel ones. I've got a waffle iron you don't have to flip.
You just grill it?
Yeah.
Griddle it? That's a fair point.
It should be pancaking.
Okay. Let's
Not
try
as
that.
clean.
But pancake is like maybe also just shoving somebody to the ground.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
It's flapjack.
Yeah,
You're flapjacking.
I'm flapjack. I like that. That's the best one.
Yeah.
Because it implies that you're flipping.
It sounds like flip-flop.
And also jacking off.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're flapjacking.
Jerking off this country. That's what you're doing.
Quit flapjacking me, bro.
Would that be a bad thing if you're jerking off the country?
Depends.
Imagine a collective jerk off. That'd be kind of lit.
A big circle jerk?
Just everybody at the same time gets one off. That would be an event.
That would be an event.
Did you guys ever?
You want to convince me of a lawyer?
Y'all tell me
He does
this.
shit
I
like
gotta
that.
y'all tell me this. Did when y'all were in school, was there ever a hey, on September 16th at 12:30, we're gonna flush every toilet in the school?
Oh no, we never did that.
Did y'all have that try to happen?
We had a lot of.
There was no way to instantaneously.
See, that's what I was wondering if before the internet was that a thing.
What happened when you did it?
Well, it was always a pipe dream because you can't that level of coordination if 13-year-olds could pull that off. I mean, you
could do it. It's easy. You just when the bell rings after third at lunch, everybody do it.
Yeah, it was always the utopian idea that Arian speaks of was one day we'll flush all the toilets at the same time. But I don't recall it ever happening.
We all have different dreams.
Yeah.
You know?
We didn't do that one. We did. There was a walkout that we had planned.
Oh yeah,
You couldn't go to your lockers as much as you wanted to. Real tyrannical stuff that they were trying to shove down our throats. So we tried to organize a walkout where everybody in the school would just leave in between periods. And I remember the administration found out about it. 7th grade after 3rd period, we go into the hallways, and then there were like 5 kids that were like, fuck it, we're going to do it, because they had all the security, all the administrators, and they just walked outside and immediately got brought back inside. They're like, you're suspended, you're suspended, you're suspended. And then everybody else was like, okay, all right, we're not going to do it. We're just having fun.
Did y'all have like a senior ditch day?
Senior disc day.
Ditch.
Oh, senior ditch day.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. But that at some point the school kind of bought into it, and they're like, okay.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Have fun.
Yeah, we did that shit. Yeah.
All right. Project Paperclip.
Or Operation.
It's actually called Project Paperclip. It was
Sure.
originally called Project Overcast, and then Project Paperclip was the name that was eventually given to the program that brought German and Austrian engineers, scientists, and technicians to the U.S. after the end of World War II. It's commonly referred to as Operation Paperclip, but that's not the real name. The official goal of the project was to bring experts to the United States for 6 to 12 months to help America in the war against Japan. But when the war suddenly ended in 1945, the project continued regardless. So it was essentially, we took over Germany with Russia, and then we're like, you know what? They do have a lot of smart people there. Let's see if we can get them on our side and have all their war scientists help us come up with better weapons so that we can then beat Japan. Which doesn't sound that crazy, especially if you're saying it's supposed to be like 6 to 12 months to like get their best ideas from them, and then we can do with them what they will. But it ended up being much, much more than that. Also, at the same time, I didn't realize this, Russia had their own Operation Paperclip that they tried to do. So it was like a race to see who could get the smartest guys from Nazi Germany. And their Operation Paperclip sucked, and they didn't get any of the people, probably because they were communist Russia, and they had also been much, much more violent over the course of the war than the U.S. had. So nobody wanted to go to Russia. They all wanted to come to the United States. So it'd be one thing if it was like a bunch of German citizens that were getting over. Hey, there's a bunch of smart scientists over there. But the problem is a lot of them were Nazis, like full-blown members of the Nazi Party. So half of the early project specialists were members of the Nazi Party, but a lot of those were opportunists that had to declare themselves to be Nazis or a member of the Nazi Party in order to get by in Germany. So if it's like, you know, the Nazi fascists are in charge, if you're not a Nazi, you're going to be targeted eventually. A lot of them might have given their allegiance to the Nazi Party just to make it easier on themselves. But then they would go on to do really bad shit, like come up with new ideas for Germans to be able to kill innocent people. And so that's what they did for the Nazi Party. There were some diehard true believers that were even in the SS, and some that were very high up in the Nazi Party. The rapid deterioration of relations with the Soviet Union after World War II made the immigration of ex-Nazis more palatable to the government and to the public. So it was pretty quickly after World War II ended, Russia, it was, obviously Japan, we're still fighting a war against them, but Russia became an enemy of ours real fast after we divvied up Germany, divvied up Berlin, and then we have a brand new enemy who was just our ally like 2 months ago. So it would make sense, right, for the armed forces and those people to get some of the top scientists that were making weapons, right, and at least figure out how they were making these rockets and the jet engines and things like that that Germany had stepped ahead of us with. Figure out how to do it, and then we'll get rid of you. But there were 1,600 German scientists that were brought to the U.S. to work for us. About $10 billion in patents and industrial processes all went into Project Paperclip. And the reason why we found out who the best scientists were due to Werner Ossenberg. And Werner Ossenberg was the head of Germany's Defense Research Association. He was responsible for figuring out which scientists to recruit to the Nazis because he made a spreadsheet. He had a hell of a spreadsheet. And then scientists had to be considered sympathetic to, or at least compliant with, Nazi ideology in order to get on this list. And that list was then known as the Ossenberg list. And then in 1945, we started taking all the paperwork that we could as we were taking over Germany. So we found the Ossenberg list. In a Polish lab technician found it. It was stuffed into a Bonn University toilet and delivered to U.S. intelligence. So we found a list of the best scientists in Germany, literally in a toilet in Poland. And it was turned over to our intelligence services. And then...
where do you hide in the tank? You think?
I think you try to flush it, and it doesn't flush.
Probably because they flushed every toilet in the building, and it broke the sewage.
Maybe at the same time, yeah. That was the last prank of the Nazis as they were evacuating Poland. Like,
I'm sure
let's flush all the toilets in Poland at the same time.
I'm sure they had a lot of time on their hands. They were trying to, bring a laugh.
Those pranksters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it sounds like they just put it into a toilet and then tried to flush the toilet. If they really wanted people to keep their hands off it, you got to wipe with that first, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think you got to wipe it. If the Ossenberg list was covered in shit, I don't think that we ever pick it up.
Probably not.
So let that be a lesson to anybody that's planning on starting a
Unless
war.
your boss made you go in there and like the ball pit.
That's true. So
wait, was that? That's on next week's episode. Don't worry about that reference. You'll get it in
that's what
5 days or so.
What we call a teaser.
Yeah.
Teaser for next week, next Tuesday. Harry Truman gave the green light to this project when he found this list, but he also ordered that the program could not recruit any documented Nazis. So that seems like it would be a very slim picking if it was no Nazis, but get all their best scientists. But then there was a new organization called the Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency, and they realized that all the smartest people on the list were Nazi sympathizers, and so they found a way to get around this directive from Harry Truman. So in 1945, the Joint Chiefs of Staff released a top-secret memo. It was called The Exploitation of German Specialists in Science and Technology in the United States. The memo was never shown to President Truman. They kept it secret from him. And in it, the Joint Chiefs described desired Nazi scientists as chosen rare minds whose continuing intellectual productivity we wish to use. So then the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency, they chose not to vet any of the researchers or scientists before they were brought into the U.S. and only once they got here. So they said, I kind of understand this. Do you understand why they did it?
In terms of what?
Like the rules were they can't be members of the Nazi Party if we want to bring them over and have them work on weapons for us. But then they went through the list and they're like, we've heard of some of these people and all their smartest people that were making these innovations.
Yeah, it was kind of you gotta crack a few eggs to make an omelet.
Yeah, kind of, but it's like we're willing to overlook who your last boss was if you can just give us results.
Yeah.
Right? So they whitewashed and erased incriminating evidence from their records. And I think they were also saying, we won't vet them before they come over here, and we'll vet them once they're here. And then by the time they get here, you have a couple conversations with them, and you're like, yeah, I could really use this guy's rocket. So how much vetting am I really going to do?
Yeah, not so bad when he can, help you out.
Yeah, once you get to know him. They're saying,
yeah.
Like, once you get to know these Nazis, they're not actually that bad. That's what the U.S. government was saying.
So Einstein wrote a letter to Truman, and he was against it. He said, "It's just because like Einstein is largely known as like one of the smartest people who's ever walked Earth, and so he fled from over there, and was obviously extremely against the regime, and so he wrote a letter to Truman. He says, we hold these individuals to be potentially dangerous carriers of racial and religious hatred. Their former eminence as Nazi Party members and supporters raised the issue of their fitness to become American citizens or hold key positions in American industrial, scientific, and educational institutions. If it is deemed imperative to utilize these individuals in this country, we earnestly petition you make sure that they will not be granted permanent residence or citizenship in the United States with the opportunity which that would afford. In calculating those anti-democratic doctrines which seek to undermine and destroy our national unity. So Einstein was against this.
Fair point. Fair point by Big Al.
Yeah,
why don't
the GOAT?
Why don't we just like set up a giant office over in Germany, and the German scientists could work out of there, but they're not coming to the U.S.
How did that work? Because I'm not a huge World War I don't really, it didn't, I don't say it didn't interest me, but I just never really dug into it like that. How was the reconstruction of Germany post-war? Like, how did they set that up?
I
Like,
believe there was the Marshall Plan, which wasn't just Germany. Was the Marshall Plan? That was Europe, right? They divvied up Berlin, so we got half of it, or I should say, Western Europe, the Allies got half of it, and then Russia got the eastern half of it. So we kind of split everything up, and then there was West Germany, East Germany, and West Germany was more favorable to all the Western influences. They were free, democratic, and then East Germany was like a puppet state for the Russians. But we paid a bunch of money to rebuild infrastructure, rebuild cities, things like that. Because if you go into a country and you just absolutely smash it to pieces and then don't try to fix anything or give people jobs, then they will turn on you eventually. And that's a lesson that we didn't hang on to that one for too long.
okay, so it was split up into two, I guess, state-backed regimes, East and West, and one was Western, which was mostly us, and the other one was Russian.
Yep, essentially.
Okay. Okay. And that was when the Berlin Wall was created, I'm
Yep.
assuming? Okay.
Yep. So I feel like it would have been good to just keep the Nazis over in Germany and have them work in a little German lab for us. Be like, okay, what are you guys cooking up this month? Okay, we'll send that back. But you guys can't come over.
But then, I mean, yeah, but you run the risk of putting my devil's advocate hat on. You run the risk of using that intellectual prowess back for evil again. Because I mean, if you interview most people taken captive with those kind of gifts, they're gonna be like, I was just doing what my boss said, right? Naturally. And so, and there's no way to measure a man's heart to see if that's actually how he felt. And so if that intellectual prowess was back at work, there's no telling. I guess so. I mean, is there an element of like keep a close eye on them? Keep your enemies
I think it was
closer?
more along the lines of we're in a war right now, and we're going to have to do some evil shit if we want to beat the other evil side. So let's figure out how to do that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You gotta stoop to the level of your opponent sometimes, is I think what the thought was. And when it was initially uncovered in 1946, the American people found out about Project Paperclip. The consensus was that it's a bad idea. People in America thought it was a bad idea. Former First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt did not approve of it. The United States just fought a world war against the Nazis. They were the bad guys. She did not want them working for us. As Arian mentioned, Einstein was vehemently against it. I think he made all fair points. And then the New York Times and Newsweek broke the news about Paperclip in 1946, and the government told the American people that the individuals recruited were the, quote, good Nazis. Insisting, these are your guys at the New York Times here, Big T, your favorites.
Okay.
Said that they were the good Nazis, insisting none of them had been complicit in the atrocities committed by Hitler's regime. In reality, there were a number of war criminals among them, including some who had conducted human experiments, used slave labor, and overseen the systematic murder of thousands.
This is literally the what murder? Have you seen that?
Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I have.
This is literally that meme.
Yes. What?
All right, real quick question. First ladies. How much should we I can't see through the pixels, but are you grinning?
I am.
It looks like
I just want to see where you're going with this.
Okay. Like
Melania's 1-1. Maybe Nancy.
no, I'm saying like how
I kind
much
of like Jill too.
why
Is that weird?
Oh no, she's the worst.
No, I'm not talking. I'm being
Like who?
chauvinistic.
Which one?
I know, but I can't look past her what she's done to her elderly husband. It's despicable.
No, I'm not old.
Are you talking about Jill? Okay. How much should we? Why should we pay attention to first ladies? This is a genuine question.
It goes back to the office of the presidency being used in America like they're mascots too. They're not just
Yeah.
they don't just do policy and work with Congress and pass laws and work with the armed forces and shit. They're also mascots for the country. And so
I start with this caveat. I should have started with this, but it has nothing to do with gender. Like if Kamala gets elected,
Doug,
her husband, like same vibes, right? I'm just asking, like the cat that didn't liable to get here. Why should we pay attention? Well, I mean,
I
I'm
think
listening,
it
though.
would
Go
just be like, I mean, it would be kind of weird if, you know, you never saw their spouse, like, ever.
it goes back to
I
our
think we should elect
fascination
more single people.
with. I'm not opposed to that. Although like a horny president, I guess they're all horny anyways. But like a president worrying about his or her dating life at the same time.
The
See,
Bachelor. That's a Veep
I wouldn't
storyline.
I wouldn't look at it like that. I would look at it like a president has more time than a married man. More free time.
No, Bill Clinton was essentially single.
I think all of them are, but except for maybe Joe Biden.
You don't think Joe
But-
Biden might be the first president to not like maybe he never fucked in the White House.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting if that thing ever
You
got
think
up.
Obama's cheating?
I find it hard to believe that and this is, it's come from a man who has had past transgressions, a man of that stature, and that is a handsome brother, Obama's handsome, man, and it's, as the famous Chris Rock said, you know what I'm saying, a man is only as faithful as his options.
I would be fascinated to see the list of celebrities that have had sex with a president. Because
I would too. Yeah.
Because there are some that we've never heard of.
And you got to keep that one under wraps. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I've heard some stories, man, about some A-list celebrities, dog.
Yeah, did you hear about one A-list celebrity woman that was maybe hanging out with Arian Foster back in
It's
late
bullshit
2000s?
that we don't know who that is. It's
It's messy, brother. It's messy.
it's
Ew.
bullshit.
I thought
dude.
we were close.
How we are, but let me see your body counts, and I need names. You know what I'm saying? It's like just some people, some
Sure.
things just
Yeah.
some people just need a little bit of privacy, man.
I'll get you my body count. All the boys in the back.
I think we talked
All
about
the
that.
boys in the back
Me
print
and
up a
you have
spreadsheet and
I would say we know way crazier stuff about you than that.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
You know crazier stuff about what? No, you
I
don't.
mean, you've told us some stories that are way crazier than whoever the person is.
Nah,
she's that crazy.
no, it's not.
Is
that
it-
crazy.
is
Y'all
it
are building
Michelle?
up.
Why?
You're putting it on a pedestal.
Are
See,
you
that's
are you
wild,
sure
bro.
she's not going through a divorce right now?
Who is that?
Listen,
Oh, J-Lo.
no, I don't think I could keep that one in. That is she may have been my first. Google J-Lo in the
Yep,
green
that
dress.
was a good dress.
No, that's why they created Google Images. Did you know
Are you
that?
serious?
Is it really?
They apparently, the story is that when J-Lo was wearing the green dress, so many people were Googling J-Lo in the green dress.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, hand up.
Yeah, and Google Images didn't exist yet, and so that is what was the catalyst for Google Images becoming a part of.
I had that
It's
poster.
a
search
nice
engine.
dress.
I had that J-Lo in the green dress poster. I couldn't keep that.
Imagine,
one in. I
imagine looking
I would
so
be a
good
simp for J-Lo.
in a dress.
I was simp.
Yeah,
That
I'll be-
changes pretty
I'll
much the
be
course
such-
of the internet.
I'll be such a simp for
Yeah.
J-Lo.
Arian,
dog.
did you
What
know
we
that in
doing?
2020 she did like a fashion show with a recreation of the green dress?
Nah, I didn't
Yeah,
see that.
that
one.
you should look that up.
I'm gonna check it out. Beautiful woman. What a beautiful woman.
She's
I
single
remember
too.
this dress very well.
Hey, J-Lo, if you happen to get this, just notice I am a good man. I am a good man. You know what I mean? I'll treat you correctly. I'll treat you right.
She likes an athlete.
I used to be one. I used to be one, and I was good at that as well.
She likes podcasters.
Hey, I'm currently that. Yeah, treat you
This
well,
wouldn't
man.
even be her first Barstool
That's
employee.
All my bad stuff is in my past. Everything up there back. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm a good man. I treat you right. I'm faithful.
Don't go on TMZ.
However you want to do this thing, let's do this thing, Mrs. Lopez, or whatever your last name is right now.
I think it's still Lopez.
Yeah, I think that's her name.
Yeah, that's her name.
Shout out to that.
Yeah. What if Kamala got elected? We'd have a first dude, and it'd be Doug. He'd instantly become the most famous Doug of all time, right?
Did you see he's
Not in my mind.
Who you got?
Doug Funny.
I think it'd be Doug Funny, and does he call himself Doug Harris? He should change his name. Doug should change.
Or no, it's
Yeah,
Doug
but
Emhoff.
if she gets elected president, you have to change your name. It should be Doug Harris.
Oh, yeah.
Just keep it
Yeah,
easy
for
for
sure.
us.
What about Flutie?
Yeah.
The amount.
I think Doug Harris would be more famous than Doug Flutie.
Yeah. I don't know who Doug Funny is. Is that the show, Doug? Is it the show, Doug?
Who's more famous, Dougie Fresh or Doug Flutie? Because this says number one is Dougie Fresh.
No, I think
but
Doug Flutie is more famous.
I agree.
I don't think so. I think Dougie Fresh is. I actually played basketball with Doug Flutie.
Is he good?
Nice.
Yeah.
I thought maybe I told the story on this podcast. I don't know, but I was in this is back when I was in San Diego. In high school, we used to run in these courts, and bro, they had the coldest white boy I ever played with, dog. Too. What was his name? I don't know. He was in jail a lot, and he was all tatted up, cool white boy, man. He had some of the coldest handles I've ever seen, dog. Hard. Anyway, one day we playing, and Doug Flutie walk up randomly, and we was like, "What the fuck?" And he played, and sure enough, fam. My man's hits the game-winning shot.
No way.
Love that. I can't believe you've never told that, but that's a great story.
That's why I thought I did. Yeah, but yeah. So it was a good game. We was all playing, and it was some good. Like those were good pickup games because there was some guys. Actually, I was a future D1 athlete. He walked up. It was a good game. I think we went to 11 at the time. Boy, he stepped back from the top of the key. Bam. We was like, "Ain't that some
Did he
shit?"
say
Doug
something
Flutie with
cool?
the game-winning shot. Nah, he was like super
In my
modest.
mind,
Super,
he would have said, "Did it again."
That would have been.
You just got Douged.
It was a cool moment though. Yeah,
That is awesome. That puts a smile on my face. Yeah, Doug Flutie. He seems like he would be like a good point guard.
He was nice. It was very like I don't think like I said there was another white boy on our squad who was just some of the best handles I've ever seen. He's like the main and he got a shot too. But like Doug Flutie was very serviceable, very very good ball player.
Very serviceable pickup ball player. I love that.
Facts.
Operation Paperclip, Project Paperclip. So we were talking about how we only recruited initially the ones that weren't Nazis. Then we're like, okay, you can be a Nazi, but you have to be one of the good Nazis. And then we're like, okay, you don't even have to be like one of the as long as you weren't in the SS. Okay, well, if you're smart enough, then if you were in the SS, that's fine. The biggest one that we got was Werner von Braun. If you've seen October Sky with Jake Gyllenhaal, big friend of the program. We're all massive Jake fans here, aren't we, ladies? Jake Gyllenhaal. So in the movie October Sky, it's about like this guy that grows up in West Virginia. He gets obsessed with rockets, and his dream is to meet Werner von Braun one day and work for NASA. And then at the end, he gets to meet Werner von Braun, and they completely gloss over Werner von Braun's entire past and why Werner von Braun was working for NASA. Werner von Braun was in the SS in Germany. And if you wonder what Werner von Braun did when he was in the SS, he made the V2 rocket. And the V2 rocket is what the Germans used to launch indiscriminate rocket attacks against a lot of places, most notably probably London, where they would just fire these rockets over. There were obviously relatively unguided rockets. You could point them in the right direction, but they were not precision. You cannot pick which building you were going to hit. You couldn't even really pick which part of town you were going to hit. So he fired a fuckload of rockets over into London and killed thousands of just innocent civilians because they were just like, point, shoot, who cares where it hits. And we brought him over, and we wanted to know how he made the V2 rocket. We wanted to know what the secret sauce is. It was the first long-range missile that's ever been made. He was an SS officer, and he was involved in the exploitation of the concentration camp prisoners as well for the purpose of missile production. So he was a very, very smart guy, very talented scientist. He was in charge of developing rockets that could be sent to just hit random civilian targets. And in order to make the rockets, he would have concentration camp prisoners working in his facilities, assembling them. So he was like their boss. Not a good guy. In fact, I would say bad guy. Prisoners from the Buchenwald concentration camp were forced to work on his rocket program. Many of them died from overwork or starvation. Records indicate that Werner von Braun himself went to Buchenwald to recruit skilled prisoners to work on his rockets. Aside from his work for the U.S. government after defecting to America, von Braun made himself world famous by advocating spaceflight in magazines and on TV. Soon after the Soviets launched Sputnik, which, by the way, Sputnik was the size of like a phone booth, right? Didn't we learn that a few months ago? Yeah, it was a little bitch. It was a little bitch that they launched into space.
I wouldn't say that, but it was smaller than you would think.
Yeah. So after that, he helped to launch the first U.S. satellite, and he was a big champion of we have to beat the Russians to the moon, maybe because he was also secretly pissed off at the Russians for beating Germany in World War II. So our whole space race, obviously JFK was like, we're going to go to the moon, not because it's easy, but because it's hard, blah, blah, blah. That had something to do with it, but also Werner von Braun was pushing for space exploration, pushing to go to the moon before the Soviets, probably because they beat him in World War II.
The first time I heard of Werner von Braun's name is when I was on Rogan, and I asked him, it was a clip that kind of went viral, but I asked him, why do you feel like we went to the moon? Because you used to be a moon landing denier, and that clip went kind of viral. And he's like, he says he thinks we went, but there is some like nefarious shit that went on with like the footage being lost. And then he mentioned Werner von Braun being a Nazi that helped usher space flight originally. And so like that is like a big variable into why moon landing deniers believe that we went is because of Werner von Braun's involvement in the entire
because he was so adamant that we beat the Russians at something that he could convince people to like stage the moon landing.
That in combined with him being a Nazi is
I think we went to the moon. But there's a lot of shit that was altered or doctored after the fact, most likely to clean up some of the pictures and things like that. That would give a lot of ammunition to moon landing deniers.
That, and I absolutely believe we went too, but that and the fact that they lost so much, it's just hard to like. Something went on, but I don't know what. Like the fact that they lost a lot.
Yeah.
Of documentation.
And also, if you're the Russians and you're trying to go to the moon and you get beaten by the Americans and it was fake, wouldn't you be like, hey, they're faking it. You can't go to the moon. We tried. But the Russians were just like, shit, they did it.
Yeah.
So in 1952, von Braun introduced the American public to his vision of space exploration in Collier's magazine. As a series of articles that were published over 2 years, he described how men would live and work in huge donut-shaped orbital space stations before setting off on missions to the moon. He imagined spacecraft launching and gliding back to Earth daily, and he described in detail the rockets he would build to launch such missions. Americans met the man behind this compelling future on March 9th, 1955, when von Braun appeared in the first episode of Walt Disney's Tomorrowland TV series. And he does have some defenders. Some people that defend him say that he was not a fervent believer in Nazi ideology, but he was more motivated by his childhood obsession with spaceflight, an uncritical patriotism, and a naive grasp of the ramifications of his actions in creating one of the war's deadliest weapons. I don't really believe that. I think he knew exactly what was happening, and he was a member of the SS, and they don't just give those positions to anybody. I think he was definitely a Nazi, definitely believed in some of their ideology, and he also happened to be a brilliant scientific mind.
Yeah, there were some prisoners of some of the camps that he was involved in, and they explicitly say that like some of the treatment that he approved of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so in that case, I think I believe them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd believe those people too. They wouldn't forget that.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a bad guy, good scientist, and we were just like, fuck it. If it can help us beat Japan and beat the Russians, then we'll take anybody on our side. But eventually you take enough people on your side, and then you become those people, which is you could make the argument that we took a lot of people on our side. He invented the Saturn rocket, which helped get us into outer space. That was his big thing. It was an impressive rocket. Really, one of the, I'd say, much, much better scientist than human being. Wernher von Braun.
That's the mantra of this whole deal.
Yeah.
If you're a better scientist,
we'll take anyone that can help us win.
If you are a better scientist than you are a bad person, you can come.
But you might say for some of these guys it's kind of even. Like Wernher von Braun, one of the best scientists of all time, also one of the worst people of all time.
You know who these guys are? They're Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
If your talent exceeds your baggage, you will always have a job.
Yep.
You can be a nut job crazo, but if you're one of the best, we will take you with open arms.
That's true. It's meritocracy.
Tim Tebow, talent didn't exceed the media circus.
Yeah,
Colin Kaepernick, same deal.
Not even close for Tim Tebow. Not even close.
Agreed.
And he didn't really have that much baggage. Tim Tebow was just a media circus.
Right.
Yeah.
The Tim Tebow sympathizers are some of the most diehard stands I've ever seen.
Oh, but you say he wasn't even good in college, though.
I didn't say he wasn't good. I said because people are like, he's one of the greatest college football players of all time. That is
for sure
batshit insane, in my opinion. It's crazy. Just from my perspective, I saw him. I was in the same league as him at the time. And like there were way more talented cats than him. He just had insane talent around him. And I think that translated when you went over to that's rare that a college talent doesn't at least flash some brilliance in the league. I can understand like some certain statures like Noel Devine. It's a hard to find a position in the NFL because everybody's bigger and faster. But for a talent, like raw talent, not to have any success in the NFL.
Oh, I disagree. I think that happens every year.
Okay, give me some examples.
Are any position or just quarterback?
Quarterback specifically, but I would say skill position players, it's rare that you dominate in college and don't show any promise in the NFL.
You can go back and
Eddie
look
Lacy.
He had one or two seasons in Green Bay, right?
Yeah. I think he had a Pro Bowl season.
There are some examples of Texas Tech quarterbacks back when Mike Leach was running it, where they were just breaking records every single year.
Graham Harrell.
Graham Harrell was the one I was thinking of. Yeah.
So I'm just looking at first round quarterbacks. Bryce Young looks like he might stink. Obviously,
again,
1 year
like,
we don't know, but Kenny Pickett.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, that's a good measuring
but
stick.
What I'm saying is okay. Like, sure, there are people that are good in college that don't translate, but I think because of how the draft is set up, we think every first round pick should be stacked up with every first round pick, right? Like sometimes the talent pool just is what it is, and somebody has to be first round. But like, there's obvious, like really prolific players that get drafted in the first round, and then there's people who get drafted in the first round who this is the cream of the crop, and they get measured against each other, which I think is a little bit unfair.
Okay, I've got one for you.
What I'm more speaking of is when you talk about generational talents and when you talk about like extreme dominance in college football, those cats usually translate well to college. To the NFL. I think it's rare. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm saying it's rare.
What Tebow was really good at in college was never throwing the football, though.
Agreed.
Yeah, he could get the ball to a guy that was in space sometimes, but he was not. He was a runner, and then he would find his one read who was kind of open.
That's what I'm saying. I think he was a fullback who had weapons, so the field was spread, and so he had a lot of running.
I've got one for you, Pat White.
Again, I don't think his talent level didn't exceed like.
Oh, Pat White was awesome.
He was a good college quarterback. It was not like great.
He's not as good as
known
Tebow.
as one
He
of
was
the
really
best.
good though.
But that's what I'm saying. But I think he was okay in the league. But like again, like I feel like that translated pretty well. I'm talking about like massive, like we talking about like Reggie Bush, Tim Tebow, Vince Young, these kind of cats who like changed, like are heralded as some of the best college football players of all time. Usually have pretty good success in the NFL.
Tim Tebow did win a playoff game.
Yep,
He did have Tebow mania.
He had the game-winning touchdown pass.
I was like one of them games before. I forget they won a game. I think it was against the Chiefs that year. They won a game and he had like 8 yards passing. Yeah. Something crazy like that.
It was wild. They had some incredible games. One against the Jets where he didn't do anything for like 3.5 quarters, and then he ran in a touchdown, maybe 2-point conversion.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Tebow in a 17-10 win over the Chiefs was 2 of 8 for 69 yards and a touchdown.
That was it. Yeah. There was
It's efficient.
No
2 of 8
picks.
is wild.
That's 34 yards a pass, a completion.
Right, but to have a National Football League quarterback go 2 and 8 and you started the game is wild.
Yeah.
The lack of confidence there is disrespectful. I don't want Tebow fans talking to me. I think he's probably a great dude. I met him a couple times, but it's like I don't have nothing against him. It's just my perspective. It's my take. Could be wrong. It's what I saw.
R.I.P. Demaryius Thomas.
Yep.
Facts.
Yep. That was a great play.
I had a jersey swap with Cuz.
Oh yeah.
Great player.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Yeah, man.
Ryan Clark wasn't playing that game, right? Because of sickle cell.
I'm not sure.
I think he might have been out
I
because
don't
it was
know.
at altitude. That
Could have been.
was a wild game. All-time great ending. Back to Operation Paperclip, Project Paperclip. Excuse me.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. That's how we got there.
Aaron Rodgers.
Werner von Braun.
That's who he is. Yeah. There has been whitewashing and scrubbing of Project Paperclip Nazis that continued even well after the Cold War was over. There's a guy named Dr. Theodore Benzinger. He was a member of Project Paperclip. He died in 1999. The New York Times ran an obituary for him that talked about Benzinger as being a good German scientist who dedicated his life to the U.S. military. The top paragraph of the obituary credits him with inventing the ear thermometer and a device to measure calorie loss. The obituary, however, completely left out the fact that he worked with Heinrich Himmler, the head of the SS, very closely during the war, and was on the original list of the Nuremberg war crimes trials. So they wanted to try this guy for crimes against humanity and have him hanged immediately after the war was over. But we got him out of there, and he became one of our scientists. And then they just didn't talk about any of that when he died. There was another example, the Space Medicine Association. They had an award named for Paperclip alumni Hubertus Strughold. He was the father of space medicine from 1963 until 2003. They named the award after him. It was only after the Wall Street Journal published an expose of Strughold's connection to human experimentation during World War II that the award was retired. Now, Big T, how do you feel about cancel culture running amok in these two examples here?
It does sound like that's exactly what happened.
They dug up the obscure stuff that he did in his pre-woke period.
Yep.
Where this guy worked for Heinrich Himmler himself, and now they're using it to denigrate
What
the ear
human
thermometer.
experimentation?
Project Paperclip also, I like this one. It led to swept wing aircraft. So, Arian, you've seen Top Gun, the new Top Gun. You know, when
More than the average American's fair share.
which I appreciate. Thank you for your service. When he gets in the cockpit of that plane that he's trying to steal, and then they
Well, stealing is a tough.
well, no, he's stealing.
He's trying to survive, Eric. He's trying to survive.
You're talking about at the end?
Yeah, it was GTP, Grand Theft Plane. He gets in the plane and they sneak in. They fill it up with gas, and then he's trying to take off over that little bridge, and then they sweep the wings of the aircraft. Remember that? Like the wings go out to the side. So
God, I'm watching that shit
I might
today.
watch it too.
Oh my God, I got excited. I got
Yeah, it's
butterflies.
so good. So when the wings are back, it conserves gas. When the wings are out to the side, it gets more lift.
It's okay. I want to have you finish your point, but I don't want to forget the point. Is it true that when you're driving in a car and your windows down, that causes more, like it uses gas more?
I've heard that because the wind gets inside your car and it slows it down a little bit because you feel the wind on your face, right?
Yeah, because the old adage was like people say running your AC uses gas, and people say if you roll your windows down, that uses more gas than the
Yeah.
AC. That was back in the day before it was checkable on the internet, and so I haven't heard that shit in a while.
I would assume that it uses more gas when your windows are down because you got all that air resistance pushing back on the inside of the car, as opposed to being
Gotcha.
deflected.
In this sense, I don't know. Like, I'm not a man's man when it comes to like knowing about cars and cool. I don't know shit. If I take my shit to the car shop, I'm getting taken advantage of.
Yeah,
I'm letting you know that right now because I don't. They can say everything's wrong. I'll be like, bet, dog.
there should be a service where you can just like rent a guy that looks like a mechanic to go with you to to a body shop or to like engine repair.
Have a mechanical lawyer.
Yeah, if you're a real soy boy like me and Arian, you take your car and you just got a guy wearing like overalls, just greasy arms. You tried everything.
So my client wants to, check his under the hood out. You treat him fair.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's look into that.
I need.
I feel like that's a good business idea. So
All right, sorry.
I was
Go
just
ahead.
going to say
Plane
Project
wings.
Paperclip, they helped invent the sweep wing aircraft that you see in the F-14 in Top Gun 3. It's a type of wing that's common in modern aircraft. It points backwards or sometimes forwards. And with angled wings, they've existed since the early days of flight, but the high angles seen in aircraft today are largely thanks to German innovations by Adolf Bussmann and Albert Betz during the 1930s. Bussmann immigrated to the U.S. in 1947 as part of Project Paperclip. Betz stayed in Germany, and they invented these wings. The benefits is to delay the shock wave and accompanying aerodynamic drag caused by fluid compression of the air near the speed of sound. For this reason, swept wings are more commonly seen on jet-powered aircraft. It's because of them. Solar-powered satellites also are a big invention from Project Paperclip and Hans Ziegler. He is the main driving force behind the existence of solar photovoltaic cells on many satellites today. During the war, he worked for a high-tension porcelain company in Bavaria, but he was brought to the United States in 1947. Once he was over here, he made many interesting developments in military electronics that we then transferred to the space program. In the 1950s, he found himself looking at solar cells that were developed by Bell Labs. He immediately saw their potential for not only satellites, but also for power generation here on Earth. He is quoted as saying, "The future development of the solar cell may well render it into an important source of electrical power, as the roofs of all our buildings in cities and towns equipped with solar cells would be sufficient to produce this country's entire demand for electrical power." Big T. I don't want to tell Republicans how to do their job, but maybe I can have a word with you. You can talk to somebody.
Okay.
I'm shocked that I haven't seen the connection between solar panels and Nazi Germany made yet.
That
Why
does
not?
seem like an oversight.
Yes.
I will try to get in touch with some people and see if we can get that out and more into the consciousness.
It seems like a big miss. It seems like this guy, this former Nazi, was saying essentially what the Green New Deal wants right now, which is put solar panels everywhere for power.
It's all lining up now that you mention it.
I'm ashamed that you haven't brought this up in the past. You guys,
I didn't know about it until today.
You got to do better at this.
Hey, and what if that takes off and that becomes like a talking point against like environmentalism?
It very well
it's all
could.
because you make it a joke.
I mean, you're laughing. If it was like Republicans that wanted solar panels everywhere, that would be a thing. 100%.
Maybe, but if it does take hold, that'd be hilarious. Like I would. Like,
But if Republicans wanted more solar energy, I think I'd be in favor of that.
I maybe, but that would be plastered
separate the art from the
everywhere.
artist.
Yeah, I think. Listen, if
I've got some guys in well-connected place. I'm going to see how far we can get this.
I could see,
Hey, your vibe changes with shades on.
it
You
does.
like it?
I'm a fan of you either way, but like I like your energy.
This is
with shades on.
this is my. I'm here to party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm here to party, but within the bounds, within the rule of law.
Yeah, Big T's here to have a good time.
I will smile. What senator or what Republican do you think would be the most likely to use this connection?
Senator?
Senator, just Republican in general. I've got one.
Easy layup.
I mean, Ted.
Ted's a good one, yeah.
J.D. Vance would love this.
You think so?
Yeah.
I was going to say Tom Cotton.
Is he big into, like, I've never seen him get...
Actually, no, I retract that. I'm sorry for disparaging Tom Cotton. I don't think that he'd be the first. I think it's that guy from Wisconsin. What's his name? Johnson?
I'm not familiar with him.
I think it's...
Bars. Big bars.
Yeah, Big T, you would love this guy. His name is... What's his first name? I'm looking it up right now. Ron Johnson. Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin. If you get this information to his desk, I bet you he would be the first to say it.
I don't know that senators are who we need to be going after. We need to go after the media.
Oh, you're thinking like Sean Hannity.
We need to get this to Daily Wire.
Daily Wire, yeah, he'd go after it for sure, or they'd go after it.
But I'll exhaust all my avenues.
Ron Johnson, if he knew about this,
I've got some guys. I'm gonna see how far we can push this.
Okay. Solar power, Nazi idea. There was a Soviet project to recruit the Nazi scientists that we mentioned. It was called Operation Paperclip. I can see why they chose to go with the U.S. now, actually. Just Paperclip was way easier for them to say and read. The effort was part of a race between the Allies to get as many scientists and the Russians to get them. Paperclip is not a word in the Russian dictionary. It's an acronym. Its initials are the Union of Societies for Assistance to Defense and Aviation Chemical Construction of the USSR, which is a paramilitary organization founded in 1927 with the aim of preparing the population for the defense of the homeland. So they tried to get them to just build all their homeland defense programs for them, homeland defense weapons for them. Over the course of hours on October 22nd, 1946, 6,500 Nazi scientists and others throughout the Soviet-occupied territories were drafted at gunpoint and loaded into 92 freight trains and brought elsewhere within Soviet Union. Several hundred of these new recruits were transported to the remote and extremely isolated island off Lake Seliger, about 300 miles from Moscow, specifically to work on the Soviet ballistic missile programs with direct ties to the nation's nuclear and space-based aspirations. So they kidnapped about 6,500. I don't know, is that kidnapping? If you're a Nazi scientist and you get loaded up into a van at gunpoint, are you kidnapped? Are you a prisoner?
Are you saying Nazis can't be kidnapped?
I don't know. Can a Nazi be kidnapped?
It seems like it.
Really? Even after we just fought a war against them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
kidnapping?
understand why they wouldn't, how they couldn't
What's
be.
the difference between rounding them up into a bunch of trains and vans and then forcing them at gunpoint into your country to work on science projects as opposed to rounding them up in a bunch of vans at gunpoint and shipping them to jail? Because one would be kidnapping, the other would not, right? The other would be arresting.
Well, one seems extrajudicial.
It does, yeah. Okay, that's fair. Because they're not put into a court of law.
The definition is, in criminal law, kidnapping is the unlawful abduction and confinement of a person against their will. So, yeah.
So maybe it's prison. If you're put in prison unjustly, are you kidnapped?
Yeah. But see, now you're getting into the ethics of war in general, right? So to me, war crime has always been an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Because most war is egregious and it's inhumane and it's unlawful and it's immoral, which is why I'm anti-war. But yeah,
there's a bunch of stuff.
A lot of Venn diagrams can overlap.
I feel like studying war crimes would be an interesting one too, because there's so much stuff that has been it's illegal to use in war, but you think war is just kill by any means necessary, defeat your opponent. But there's laws in place. You can't shoot bullets that fragment once they enter a person's body. So you can buy them in the United States and you can use them for home defense, shooting at a range, anything like that, but you can't use them in a war. Isn't that crazy?
I think there's guidelines.
No, they're laws.
Yeah, but there's like, as far as like prosecutorial avenues, it's extremely hard to prove war crimes.
Yes, that's true.
Because a lot of like stances can be viewed, as justifiable.
Yeah.
And also depending on alliances, like war crime is a hard thing to prove because the world doesn't agree in general. So
yeah. Like
Yeah.
landmines, for example. Landmines, you can still use anti-personnel mines, but you have to like keep very good track of where they are. And then after the war is over, you have to make every effort to clear them because otherwise civilians could just walk over them. I think you're also not allowed to put in landmines that are designed to just maim, like brutally maim. They have to be designed to kill. I think that might be one of them. Anyways,
That's fair enough.
We'll look into all these, and because there's a big list of stuff that you're not allowed to do in war. There were some famous scientists that were recruited by the Soviet Union, or kidnapped by the Soviet Union, and they held on to them for at least 5 years before they got released. And some of the notable scientists include Hugo Schmeisser. He developed the first successful assault rifle for Germany. That was the STG-44 and the AR-44, right? Because that's what the AR stands for, an assault rifle, right? AR, assault rifle.
Yeah, you nailed it.
We all know that. That's my favorite. That's my favorite troll. That and like the pictures of the black and white steak. Actually, AR-15 stands for assault rifle 15. People forget that.
You nailed it.
This guy also made the AK-47 for the Soviet Union. So the Soviet Union got the AK-47 from
what does AK
a
stand
Nazi
for?
scientist. Always killer.
I thought you were gonna say assault killer.
Assault killer. K actually is Kalashnikov, which is Russian for rifle. So assault Kalashnikov. So they invented the AK-47, and they stayed in the Soviet Union, not permanently. Gradually, they were allowed to return to their country between 1950 and 58. Most of them left in 1954 after Stalin died. Some of them got university chairs in the German Democratic Republic and positions in factories when they went back. The United States also pardoned members of Japan's Unit 731, a biological and chemical warfare program responsible for thousands of deaths in exchange for the research. So Unit 731 was established in Japan in 1936. There were 3,000 people, 150 buildings, and they had capacity for 600 prisoners at a time for experimental use. Thousands of human beings were experimented on and killed at Unit 731 alone. Additional thousands were killed in other branches of Japan's extensive biological and chemical warfare program. We probably won't get the accurate figures for how many people were killed or experimented on. Unit 731 experiments involved infecting prisoners, primarily Chinese prisoners of war and civilians, deliberately with infectious agents, and exposing prisoners to bombs designed to penetrate the skin with infectious particles. There were no survivors of these experiments. Those who did not die from the infection were killed to be studied in an autopsy. And in the waning days of the war, all the remaining prisoners were killed to conceal the evidence of Unit 731. Some experiments were also done to test human responses to freezing temperatures and other extreme conditions. General MacArthur, was the supreme commander of the Allied forces. He secretly granted immunity to the physicians of Unit 731, including their leader, in exchange for providing exclusive American access to the research on biological warfare and data from human experimentation. That's some crazy shit. They did like the worst stuff possible. And then MacArthur was like, you did bad stuff, but I will give you immunity if you let us know what you found out from it.
Jeez, dog. That's another ethics question. Like, a lot of human experimentation over the years has brought forth a lot of positive effects, I would say, but probably a net negative for humanity.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just gross.
Mm-hmm.
There were also a bunch of Project Paperclip people that went on to join the CIA. They worked on MK Ultra. In 2005, the Interagency Working Group established by Bill Clinton determined in its final report to Congress that the notion that the U.S. military and the CIA employed only a few bad apples will not stand up to the new documentation. It turns out there were a lot of former Paperclip people that were over here working deep in the bowels of our government, and we don't know the true extent of it. So most of it is classified, most of the paper trail, so we probably won't ever know the true scope of the program unless we have a president that declassifies it. But who knows? Who knows what else the Operation Paperclip, Project Paperclip alumni have done and contributed to the U.S. since then, and how big it was. What's that TV show with Al Pacino on Amazon where they're Nazi hunters and a bunch of them live on like a farm in Alabama or something outside Huntsville? Touched on this a little bit, but apparently NASA was crawling.
I think it's called Hunters.
Yeah, Hunters. Go check it out. It's pretty interesting. Okay, that does it for macrodosing. In case anybody, or does anyone have anything else they want to add?
We denounce all Nazism from this podcast to your ears.
You've come a long way over the course of this podcast, Arian.
Oh yeah, I was pro Nazi.
Oh no, you had some, you hemmed and hawed about Adolf.
What you mean?
At the start of it, I put him on my shit list, and you were like, "Really?" And now you're coming out vociferously against the Nazi Party. So I'm glad I was able to change your mind. That's why we have these podcasts.
Fuck that. Fuck that joke. Was never for that. I just wanted to see an alive shit list.
Okay. I will prepare an alive shit list for you.
All right. And then you can do your dead one.
I'll do my dead.
And we can all
You know who's
rejoice.
not on my shit list, Arian?
Me.
You're not on my shit list. No, you're not. And you've given me good advice, especially in regards to nutrition and all that. I appreciate you supporting me on my journey. I'm already planning out some of my cheat meals. And you know what I think my first one might be?
What's that?
Cheesesteak. Cheesesteak sounds pretty good.
Okay, I recently found out that that's prime. That's prime rib. Or prime. Yeah, it's prime cut of cow. I didn't know that.
Cheesesteaks?
Yeah, I didn't know it was that cut.
Yeah, and you know what's a great cheesesteak, Arian? It's Pardon My Cheesesteak.
Oh shit. Okay.
Football's back.
All right, I thought
Harry didn't know we were
ordering. I'm gonna send you. You know what? I've been in a gift giving mood recently.
You have. You gave me a frother, and I used that motherfucker.
Did they include the note that I instructed them to put on it?
Yeah, it said, "You think I'm amazing, and I'm one of your best friends, and you just overall enjoy me as a human being, and one of the best people that you've ever met." Yeah, I got it.
I requested that they refer to you as the big special birthday boy.
And rub your belly if he's there.
Rub his belly. He loves that. He loves that shit. And that they sing a little song for you when they drop the frother off. But apparently they didn't do that. But I'm going to give you another gift, and that's the gift of cheesesteaks. I'm going to send you some part of my cheesesteak. Great cheesesteaks, loaded fries delivered right to your doorstep. You can have a pick of... Aaron, which one would you like? Here we've got classic cheesesteaks, Chipotle cheesesteaks, chicken cheesesteaks, Chipotle chicken cheesesteaks, buffalo chicken cheesesteaks, and chicken bacon ranch cheesesteaks.
I'm a big fan of bacon, man, so I'm going to have to go with the
chicken bacon ranch?
Ladder. Yeah.
That's good. You're going to love it. It's got provolone cheese that's melted on it, and it also has cheese sauce on it, caramelized onions, chicken bacon ranch. You want fries and a drink with it?
Of course, man.
All right, I'll get you fries and a drink. They call that the...
Dr. Pepper, please.
Okay, they call that the Big Cat Combo. So one Big Cat Combo coming right up. For dessert, you want some donut dippers?
Sure.
Okay, we'll give you the works. Find a Part of My Cheesesteak near you. Order yours now at partofmycheesesteak.com. Use code MACRO10 for $10 off orders $30 or more at partofmycheesesteak.com. All right, see you guys on Tuesday with Jersey Jerry for Labor Day. Love you guys.